Libertybeat.news and SNLS.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting. Your news now continues. As New Zealand reels from Friday's Christchurch mosque attack that left 50 dead and 50 wounded, residents of New Zealand have begun to voluntarily surrender their legally owned semi-automatic firearms for destruction, ahead of reforms promised over the next several days. Activist Post reports that the reports of citizens disarming themselves come amid a Monday announcement by Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern that several in-principle decisions on gun control have been made by cabinet ministers, and has praised residents who have surrendered their guns to police. Official police figures show that nearly 7,000 New Zealanders are legally allowed to own semi-automatic weapons. Police have advised those who wish to turn theirs in to first call their local police station or arms officer for advice on safely transporting them for destruction. For 6 years, ever since the alleged chemical weapons attack in Syria in 2013, the Western corporate press has stuck with the easily disproven claim that the Syrian government gassed its own people. Activist Post reports that the lie has been repeatedly debunked by researchers in the alternative media, but that hasn't altered the onslaught of propaganda coming from mainstream journalists. Now, one of their own, a mainstream Belgian reporter who was captured by the West Free Syrian Army terrorists, has begun blowing the lid off of the lies that the Syrian government committed the chemical attack. The reporter recently gave an interview with Belgian RTL, where he told of a conversation he heard between rebels that exonerated President Bashar al-Assad and stated clearly that, quote, it wasn't the government of Bashar al-Assad that used sarin gas or any other gas, end quote. As a result, the majority of his scheduled interviews with mainstream outlets were canceled. Support for Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for the Liberty Beat for Tuesday, March 19th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Despite a long-held consensus pointing to the mid-20s as the final stage of brain maturation, a new study has found that the adolescent brain doesn't fully form until boys have avenged their father's murder.
New imaging studies suggest that the frontal cortex goes through extensive changes during the period of training when an adolescent boy prepares himself to track down and kill the man who took his father's life. But it's not until the boy stares deep into the murderer's eyes and then stabs him right in the heart that the two lobes fuse into a fully mature brain.
According to Dr. Laurie's findings, the myelin surrounding the teenage nerve synapses develops when boys stake out the home of their father's murderer, put themselves through grueling physical training, and fantasize again and again about how satisfying it will be when he finally makes the bastard who took everything from him beg for his life.
Now, if they let their father's killer slip through their grasp, or if they press the barrel of a gun to the back of his head and then realize they don't have what it takes to pull the trigger, then the amygdala is definitively stunted, and they'll have lifelong problems interpreting emotional information.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us here. If you want to take control of the airwaves, you can do that. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Vin.
Derrick J.
Hey, wow, we got the two of you together, I think for the first time on Free Talk Live.
I think that's right.
What an unexpected surprise. This is so nice.
It's great. No, I'm glad. I'm glad that I could be here today. Packed house. It's going to be fun.
We do have a studio audience here tonight. Dave from Montana showed up at the doorstep this morning, woke me up, and it was a very pleasant wake up because I've never gotten to meet Dave from Montana before. Longtime listeners will know him. Maybe we'll get him in here for like 5 minutes or something like that a little bit later on the show if one of you guys wants to step away.
That would be cool, yeah.
That'll be fun. But for now, he's just watching. So our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Of course, I've seen the two of you on before together. Vin, you had Derrick J. on your 15-hour-long epic broadcast from the Liberty Forum this year.
That's right.
Yeah, that was a cool episode.
And I thought it was such a great interview. I cut out the video from the long, 7-hour chunk that it was a part of. I said, this needs to be its own interview, and put it up. So it's there on the Victimless Crime Spree website and everything.
It's always easy to speak with someone who's as gregarious as Derrick is, because you don't have to do much. You know what I mean? You just sort of like start him going, and then it's perfect. And then it's perfect.
Thanks. Well, at Liberty Forum, it's especially fun to just hey, you come over here. Right. You have 5 minutes? You're interesting, because there's interesting people just walking all around. You couldn't even interview them all, even in 15 hours.
No, you couldn't. So there's some crazy news coming out of New Zealand. And, of course, our listeners who've been tuned in over the weekend, we talked about the horrific shootings that happened down there in detail. We talked about it on Friday night, initially after it had just happened, and then further, even more Saturday. I don't want to belabor that point, but in case you didn't hear, there are at least 50 people who have died as a result of a psychopath callously just going and taking dozens of lives with multiple guns in what was mostly a mosque, but also outside of I think 2 mosques in New Zealand. Christchurch, I believe.
Christchurch, New Zealand, yeah.
So that's the name of the town? I was pretty confused about this.
It's like the second biggest city, I think, or it might be the biggest city in New Zealand.
I was like, how is a mosque called Christchurch? That doesn't make any sense. But that's not the name of the mosque.
No,
that's the name of the town.
Yeah.
What a weird name for a town.
Is it not the capital, Christchurch?
No, Wellington is the capital. But I think it might be the biggest city or the second biggest city. It's large for New Zealand. Yeah.
So it was horrifying. There was a video that the shooter produced because he put a helmet cam, like a GoPro, mounted to whatever it was that he was wearing. And
that's an odd choice. Has this been done before in a mass shooting? Is this the first
odd
one
choice of
seen?
Actually doing video recording?
Yeah. Who does this?
I don't think so.
I don't recall
it was weird because he live streamed it. I've been trying to sort of get my head around how he exactly did this. The footage that's out there, I've seen it, and I know we're going to talk about how in some places that might actually be a crime for me to have I just admitted a crime of the fact that I've actually watched this thing a couple of times. It's a historical event, man. I mean, it's
but you're not a dealer. You just use the stuff.
Right, exactly, and it's very low resolution, which I found to be weird.
Yeah. Well, I was grateful actually that it was low resolution, because watching something that horrifying in HD makes it that much worse.
It's hard to live stream anything in high res.
That's a good point.
Generally,
yes. So that's pretty true. You got to assume he was using his phones, but then I wondered, was it his phone that he had on his head? Like, did he start live streaming?
No, it was a GoPro, apparently.
So how was he getting the video to
stream out
his phone?
I don't know. There must be some way to
how
do
did it work?
I've been trying to figure that out for a minute.
Yeah,
I don't understand how he was doing that.
His video setup, very impressive.
Maybe you can.
This is something that should be emulated. All the rest of it, not. But the video setup, very, very good.
When you say it should be emulated, as far as here's how you should do live streaming of something safe and fun.
Yes.
Yeah, live streaming of things is difficult to do. Like, however he achieved that technically was apparently very well done.
I'm just going to guess.
We need to learn his setup.
I'm just going to guess that, given Bluetooth and, that kind of technology, that maybe newer GoPros have the ability to cast to your phone and thereby get picked up to Facebook.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know. It's a good question.
I think one of the weirdest and most surreal aspects of it was how much it resembled a first-person shooter.
Right.
Yeah.
It's even the fact of him throwing guns down and then picking up magazines and putting them in and then throwing other guns down and opening doors, and the way he did it was very first-person shooter-esque, and I think that was done on purpose. From after reading the manifesto, this was a very, very weird thing that happened.
Did you read the whole manifesto?
No.
God, no.
It's 70-some pages.
74, supposedly.
I got through about half of it and then started skimming, but it was like it was odd how in-depth it was, and my question wasn't answered. He had a ton of Q&A questions that he goes through.
What was your question?
What was your reason for doing this, and who influenced you, and all of this. But my question was, the whole manifesto is about replacement and his fear of being replaced, his feelings of that he's losing his culture and white heritage, and that there won't be a future for white children. That's his angle. And he asks a bunch of Q&A about why he did this, but he doesn't answer, why don't I have kids? Like, why am I not trying to be the solution that I want to see? If you're worried about there not being enough kids in the future, why do you not try to be attractive to a woman and be a man and have a partner and raise a child, like raise a family?
That's a good point. It seems strange that someone who was worried about being replaced would do something that was only going to have two outcomes. Either he was going to die or he was going to be put in prison for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Either one of those, he is not having children.
Right.
So that's a very weird, for someone who's concerned about there will be no world for white children, to take an act that will guarantee that, as you say, he's not part of the solution is a very weird, self-defeating sort of thing to do.
Yeah, shouldn't he be, promoting sex without protection and like, people having lots of kids, but only for white people, of course, if that's his thing. But he doesn't talk at all about procreation and that being the answer in his manifesto. He just, he says it's important, but for other people. Like, why doesn't he do it? If he's so great and he's got the right ideas.
Is to be a murderer, apparently.
Yeah.
Right.
A psychopath with no empathy whatsoever for other human beings. I mean, the video was just absolutely horrifying, especially, not just the initial shootings of the people in the mosque, but then further coming back in and shooting the bodies, shooting people on the ground, purportedly to try to discern whether or not they were playing dead, perhaps, and then coming in at even closer range and putting bullets into their heads and chests. And it's something I would not have wanted to see in HD at all.
Now, of course, this is not justified. This action is horrible. Everyone agrees it's not good. Did you hear Milo Yiannopoulos explain, he did a little bit of digging. Of course, he's like banned from the internet, so it's tough to find any of the stuff. Yeah, but he alleged that two Al-Qaeda people came from this mosque, that it was not just like a randomly chosen, like, oh my gosh, these poor people, they just got in the wrong place, wrong time. He was saying that this mosque in particular bred terrorists, like actual participated in, and he names them. Daryl Jones was the first one killed by a drone, and Christopher Havard are the two that he alleged came from this mosque.
Well, I mean, there could be hundreds of people that have gone through that mosque at any.
I don't know. It looked like a pretty small mosque to me. Like it's pretty small.
It's not a mega church.
For there to be two guys that come out of it who,
But even so, that still lumps in everybody else in the mosque with the two alleged, members of Al-Qaeda or whatever. So, I mean, there were probably 99% of the people there were good people. And just because somebody becomes a psychopath within your church or your mosque isn't, that doesn't mean anything about the rest of the people who are there.
Of course not. It's just an interesting detail.
Yeah, there's more coming up here in moments. You can join us. It's Free Talk Live.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale. Totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free, bring up whatever is on your mind. We're going to get into some very disturbing stories coming out of New Zealand after this horrifying attack. So we were just kind of spent the first segment, the three of us, talking about how awful this was. And Vin, it sounds like you watched the video as I did as well. It's one of those things that you wish you hadn't watched. But I kind of feel like I sort of have to be able to talk in an informed way about, at least as informed as I can be, not having actually been there, about what actually transpired. So Ian, Vin, and Derrick in the studio here tonight. And coming up in 3 months from now, it's ForkFest 2019. The plans are already underway. Derrick J., I happen to know that you and Steven from AnyPay are going to be doing basically dance parties almost every night.
We want a nightclub. That was one of the things that the ForkFest event was lacking.
Last year,
a nightclub to hang out in. And we like nightclubs basically in every city that we live in. So if we're living in the woods for a week, we got to bring a nightclub.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun. And of course, Jay Noon, who's one of our Wednesday night co-hosts, has announced he's going to be hosting what's called Man Camp, which will be training people to do manly things like, sculpting metal and things like that. I don't know.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And other folks might be in the planning stages of working on like food vending that they're going to be doing during ForkFest. So it's open to you. It's decentralized. You decide what happens at ForkFest. There's no central committee. There's no organizers. No, that's not to say that an organized conference isn't fun too. And the Porcupine Freedom Festival, of course, follows ForkFest. So ForkFest is the 5 days prior to the Porcupine Freedom Festival. which Porcupine Freedom Festival is entering, I think, its 16th or 17th year, depending on how you count the years. And so Fork Fest is coming into year number 3. So it's a pretty new event. We don't know how many people are going to attend, because we don't know how many people attended last year because there are no tickets. So you just kind of got to get your campsite from Rogers Campground and then do whatever it is that you want there. So if there's something you want to see happen, then you need to make it happen. Otherwise, just come and hang out with other like-minded libertarians and voluntarists and liberty-loving anarchists from June 13th through the 18th at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Again, June 13th through the 18th. Mark your calendars, and you can go to forkfest.party, which is where you can link over to a Telegram chat room where there's at least 50 people that are in that room. They're talking about, what's happening. And then there's also the Forkfest forum where, you can post a thread about a thing that you want to see happen or that you're going to make happen. And then other people can weigh in and maybe volunteer to help you. Because, again, it's all decentralized, so you got to figure it out. Forkfest.party. So here's the first disturbing headline out of New Zealand. This story from thehill.com, where a 22-year-old New Zealand man has reportedly been arrested for distributing video of an attack on Friday at 2 mosques in the country that left 50 people dead. ABC News reported Sunday that the man, who has not been identified by authorities, will be charged under the Films, Videos, and Publications Classification Act and is scheduled to appear in court this week. 28-year-old man has been charged in connection to the shootings at the mosques in Christchurch. In addition to the 50 who died, dozens more were injured. So apparently it's illegal. Police said in a statement it is illegal to, quote, distribute or possess an objectionable publication.
Yeah, the possession thing is where it starts to get a little bit crazy. Like, this is where we start stepping into Orwellian dystopia. This is I tweeted this out with a tweet saying this is the place that you do not want your culture to go. This is where
someone decides what's objectionable, you mean?
Where possession of certain material that the state has deemed objectionable is punishable as a crime, that they can throw you in prison for it. I mean, you're in Nazi Germany. You're in Soviet Russia. You're in Maoist China. Like, this is the place you don't want to go. And for it to be in New Zealand, and for people to be like, yeah, okay. Yeah, New Zealanders to be like, I think this is the move we should be making. For that to actually be there is a very dangerous. For me, this is like one of the most dangerous things that I've seen.
Why? If that's their culture, if that's what they're into, why not leave them be? To restrict freedom for people to watch videos. That's what they like.
Well, I will tell you why. Because the head of state of New Zealand is the Queen of England.
Okay.
So, you say it's their culture, but what you're really talking about is New Zealand is part of the British Commonwealth. And so this is a broader something happening in New Zealand, something happening in Canada, something happening in Australia. These things do not, like the English world, the English-speaking world, the culture swirls in between. This is a place that you don't want this to be an acceptable thing.
If you care about
culture
freedom.
To do. If you care about the health of the next generation and people not being shipped off to gulags, people not being lined up and shot in the head, and you think, you know what? You think that what I'm saying, you think that, Vin, that's hyperbole? Yeah, well, the Nazis burned books.
Vin, it can't happen here.
Right, can't happen here. The Germans said the same thing. Why do you think all those Jews stuck around to end up getting put into boxcars? They all believed it couldn't happen there.
New Zealand's number one concern is making another Lord of the Rings movie. That's all they're worried about. This is going to hurt their movie industry. Because now when people hear about New Zealand, that's all they're going to think of. I'm not going to make a movie there. Shoot up mosques.
Shootings?
Yeah. Oh no. That's what they're going to be slapped with for the next 10 years. That's all we're going to think of. When I think about this irrelevant, Pacific, but most people don't even know where New Zealand is.
No clue.
That's probably true.
It's this secluded island of no importance, and who cares that they're restricting their people's freedom?
Well, I mean, I care generally about the loss of freedom globally, but there's little that I can do about it.
If that's the culture there, then people who love freedom
should leave.
Because this is what those people value. That's their values.
If only it was so easy to just leave, though. I mean, if only...
Isn't it, though?
I don't think it is. Well, generally, you have to get some sort of permission slip from the government in order to be able to leave the prison colony that you are a part of, that you were born into. And if you can't afford that, now probably more people in New Zealand can afford it than, say, Kenya or some other place, Cameroon, some other place that people probably want to leave, where it won't take you years worth of working to just scrounge together enough money to buy a passport. Presuming that such a thing is even available. And if you can't get a passport, then you're talking about smuggling yourself out of the country. I mean, it's something that's possible, but it's not necessarily easy. And the average person,
yourself out, and then you're going to have to smuggle yourself in somewhere
else
because you don't have a passport.
Right.
But there's freedom on the internet, So even if you...
we'll get to that. Yeah. There's a story about that, too.
Yeah, but what about... So these places... New Zealand police sent this one guy who runs a website that hosted the video
Kiwi
and had a
Farm
PDF. Yeah, exactly.
I've got
Kiwi
that.
Farms.
I've got that back and forth.
They said you can't, you got to take this down, right? So I guess we'll get into that story.
Yeah, he told him to go pound sand, basically.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I have his statement here.
I've got that too.
Okay,
Did they arrest him?
No, he's
it's
not
impossible. He lives in
he's from Florida.
Oh.
So he basically wrote back the cop and was like, "Yeah, screw you. I'm not going to give you any information."
Well, but could it become an extraditable offense? That's the question.
Well, that's an interesting question. There's more coming up here in moments. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. If you want to join us here on Free Talk Live, your comments are welcome on the New Zealand or whatever's on your mind. It is Free Talk Live.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid-rich, full-spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
Hi, I'm Dan Pilla. I started fighting the IRS over 40 years ago when they tried to seize my mother's house. I sued the IRS and won. I beat the IRS then, and I've been beating them ever since. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I've helped thousands of people deal with tax problems they thought might never be solved. I can help you too. If you owe taxes you can't pay, don't wait another day. There's no such thing as a hopeless tax case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com, danpilla.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. Sorry about that. There goes the music. All right. We're here. We'll take your calls. Your thoughts are welcome. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got also the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. And you don't have to talk about the New Zealand shooting, but that is definitely where I think all of us wanted to discuss here tonight was some of the insane news that is coming out of New Zealand. For people who care about freedom, it is under serious attack right now in New Zealand. We're going to get deeper into that coming up here with you in the studio, by the way. It's Ian.
And Vin.
Derrick J.
Derrick J's with us from anypay.global and their brand new website, helpmetakebitcoin.com, which, as we've been pointing out here, is a great URL that you can send folks over to, and it will walk them through the super easy, brief process of getting set up from point zero, from scratch. You've never done anything with cryptocurrency before. How do you accept it at your local business that you own? You're the owner, the manager, perhaps, of a local establishment, and you want to take Bitcoin, you want to take Dash or some of the other cryptocurrencies out there. How do you do it? You guys handhold everybody through it over at helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Really, it's a tool for the people who want to spend Bitcoin, because let's face it, they're the ones who are really driving adoption. So if you are out there listening and you want to spend Bitcoin, you know where you spend money. Go talk to the business owners about this, because they're not listening to this ad and hearing about, so they're not going to go to do the work unless you ask them to. And then they'll be like, all right, how do I do it? Helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Exactly. Now, of course, it helps if you actually live in a place like New Hampshire where you've got other people who might be doing the same thing. So if you can combine your efforts with other people who also want to spend Bitcoin, then that'll make a business owner perk up and be very interested. But regardless, whatever your role is, you can go to AnyPay and they can help you take Bitcoin. Helpmetakebitcoin.com. It's super easy to get signed up. Username, password, you're into the system, and then you just put your crypto wallet addresses in the back end, load the app on your device. And it's now available for iOS, by the way. So it took a while. Apple's got this long, arduous approval process. You guys got through it. And so
we did the dance.
Your app is now available.
Made it in. Yep.
Very nice.
All right. Helpmetakebitcoin.com as we continue. Let's go to Ron calling us from New York on the Discord call-in lines. Go ahead, Ron.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, what's on your mind tonight?
So apparently Sam Seder is seeking out the Libertarian nomination for president in 2020.
What a joke!
Who's that?
So Sam Seder, he is a progressive talk show host who's a big Bernie-crat, and he actually re-uploads some of his segments onto YouTube. And he typically has all these clickbait titles about libertarians, like, "Oh, progressive Bernie-crat owns Libertarian on air."
I've seen this guy.
He had a fight with Daryl W. Perry once on, I think Daryl was on Sam Seder's show, if I recall correctly, and they went, it was like a throwdown.
Wait, like a fist fight?
Not an actual fist fight, but
I was about to say.
Over, like they were not nice. It was not a cordial conversation at one point.
Awesome.
And we actually had this guy on Free Talk Live at one point too.
Oh, really? How did that go?
He's not a friend of freedom. I can tell you that.
Why is he running for the Libertarian?
Good question, Ron. Yeah, why? Do you know?
I don't know, but I mean, I'll say this: definitely sounds closer to a libertarian than Gary Johnson or Bill Weld, but that's not saying much. But I guess he was also a character on Bob's Burgers.
What is that?
Really?
It's a cartoon.
So he was the voice. He was the voice of a character, or he himself was the character was him, meaning he was as himself.
He voiced a character.
He
voiced a character. I guess a recurring character, and I guess he also made guest appearances on Sex and the City.
Yeah, I mean, he's not an unknown quantity. He's somewhat known in the world of politics in Hollywood, I guess. I mean, I couldn't tell you what he's done, but I'm aware that. Oh, I know how I became aware of him. He was one of the Air America hosts back in the day.
I remember Air America. Yep.
Air America. For those listeners that don't know, it was this short-lived attempt.
Al Franken.
He was also there were several.
Rachel Maddow.
Right. And all these shows are gone now. None of them exist anymore. It was an attempt at doing like a liberal talk network, basically, to provide talk radio content to lefty, progressive talk stations, of which there are very few remaining. And on this show, we're actually one of the shows that's on the remaining progressive talk stations.
All right.
So the failure of Air America actually left an opening for Free Talk Live, because it's sad if you're a programmer for these stations, because there's very little to choose from. There's literally less than a handful of programs that are branded as kind of progressive talk show programs, to where if I'm looking at a website for one of these progressive talk stations, almost all of them are running their shows twice a day, meaning that they only have about 12 hours of fresh content every day. And so Tom Hartman's running twice, Stephanie Miller's running twice. And so that's why there's room for Free Talk Live, because even though we're not progressive in the classic, sense of the term, progressives will agree with us on a lot of things, but not everything. But certainly they'll agree with us on more than they will with conservatives, right?
Oh, for sure.
Hey, caller, how relevant do you think a libertarian politician is?
How relevant?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Ron Paul proved himself to be pretty relevant, so, I mean, it depends. I mean, it depends on whether they're actually a libertarian or not, and, how far they can, stretch their message, because one of the things Ron Paul did really well was Ron Paul was able to essentially expand his message to people that weren't necessarily libertarian. Like a lot of people that were hardcore liberal Democrats were Ron Paul supporters, mainly because they were like, oh, okay, this is what a libertarian is. They have positions like not being opposed to foreign intervention, which I agree with. And a lot of people, became libertarian because of them. I mean, I'm pretty ashamed to say this, but I was actually a neocon when I was in high school, and then I started listening to Ron Paul, and Ron Paul was one of the people that brought me around to libertarianism.
Right on.
No, see, I think Ron did a bad thing. We need more Sam Seder libertarians, because that's the worst.
Trolling.
That's the no. I'm serious, because it's the worst we could get. It's the worst option possible that would still actually run as a libertarian and try and do the job, and it just shows that politicians are the worst people and always bring the worst in anyone. In any group, you're going to find the worst.
Politicians are awful.
Right.
I mean,
so this is
sociopaths.
This is the libertarian candidate we deserve.
Well, I got to disagree with you. I mean, I think that there's no doubt that Ron Paul has done a good thing generally.
But Ron, in his speech in Anarchapulco, was just saying, give up. Don't do the politics thing. Forget it. I gave it the best shot anyone could give it.
Yeah, that's real easy for him to say after pulling a paycheck for how many decades? For 4 decades?
Yeah, he's a real welfare queen.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think he made his money in politics.
Well, he paid his rent.
He was a successful doctor. Don't forget that.
I think it was ads for gold. No,
you think so?
Yeah. Didn't he do radio ads for gold?
Thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. Tonight. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. But I do like your question about the relevance of a libertarian politics. They're not relevant.
God.
They're not. As much as we would all love for them to have, been relevant, even the principled ones weren't relevant. So,
no.
Can you be a principled libertarian politician? That seems like an oxymoron to me.
I think you can. Yeah, I think we've had them here in New Hampshire.
I feel like they're totally missing the game. The politics game is a reality TV show. You're supposed to be as entertaining
more so
and
now than
attention-grabbing as you can be, and the Libertarians are a snooze fest. I mean, come on and get entertaining, people. Like, this Sam Seder guy, at least he'll light a fire. You'll have some arguments. You'll have some people saying you're not a real Libertarian. We'll get some people talking about the principles. You know, that'll be fun. Maybe we'll even see a fist fight.
Well, it presumes that he'll get through the Libertarian nomination process, and he'll be up against Furman Supreme.
Get Darryl W. Perry up on the candidates list.
I don't think he's going to be going back.
All
I'm
right.
pretty sure he's locked down and will not be able to run for. I can't speak for him. Yeah.
Okay.
His fiance is not going to let him participate in that. I suspect. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That said, there's no doubt that Ron Paul single-handedly brought countless people who weren't freedom-friendly initially through the ideas of freedom.
But he ran as a Republican.
That's true. The second and third times.
Yeah.
The more effective times.
Yeah, run on the better station.
More coming
better
up here.
TV show.
This is Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits, at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
America is at a crossroads on many issues, leading many to ask, is it time for the president to blow the silver horn left behind by the Founding Fathers in case the country ever needed them? Of course, the horn, which has been sitting in the Oval Office since 1817, has never been used by a commander-in-chief, but many Americans think now might be the time to summon our forefathers. Which Founding Fathers would come back?
All of them. Look, when you have a bug problem, you call the exterminator. When you have an America problem, you call the Founding Fathers. They know what to do.
We have to keep in mind the Founding Fathers left us with a warning. If you blow the horn with less than pure intentions, it will turn to tin and can never be used.
But a president has to take risks, have the courage to admit that his administration is not all-knowing, and blow that magic silver horn to summon someone who is.
Yes, but what if we become too reliant on them and they disappear after the next new moon, as was written?
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people.
Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You may dial toll free. The number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. The Films, Videos, and Publications Classification Act of 1993 apparently allows you to go to prison.
Is that the one that says, like, when you put in a VHS, FBI warning? Well,
this is just New Zealand.
This is New Zealand specifically. So I don't know what the New Zealand equivalent of the FBI is, but I suspect they have something like that. I've pulled up the law here itself, but it's, as you might imagine,
huge,
pretty exhaustive.
Yeah.
But according to the story that we just started over at thehill.com, and this is a short one, a 22-year-old man has been arrested in New Zealand. And Vin, you told me off the air that it's also happened to an 18-year-old.
Yeah, there's an 18-year-old. I can only assume he was arrested on the day of, and they've announced that, like, yeah, we have this 18-year-old in custody. Also not giving the name, which I find to be very interesting, that they're not giving the name of this individual as well. His was, I don't know if it's the same crime, but it was like inciting violent something. But it was very much thought crime. Like in the same way that this is. So I assumed it must be for sharing the video, because they were just droning on and on and on about if you share this video, if you even have possession of it, it's a crime.
It's a crime.
Yeah.
Which is insane, and that is basically saying that having evidence of a crime
is
now a crime. So if you're the police, that's fine. You can have the evidence of the crime, no problem. Yeah. It's okay if they have it. But if you have the evidence of the crime, well, now you are almost as bad as the original criminal, is what they want you to believe. And that's a disturbing concept. Now, I don't know if New Zealand is one of those countries that proclaims a freedom of speech, but they sure as hell don't have it. If this is something that they do over there and how often they do it, I don't know. Man, this is like our first look into New Zealand news in, God, I don't remember the last story we covered out of New Zealand. So maybe this kind of thing is more common than we would otherwise think. Maybe this isn't unusual for New Zealand to go around arresting people with evidence of a violent crime.
I think, I don't know, man. I had a good friend of mine when I lived in LA who was a Kiwi, and it seems like they have had a very like open kind of laissez-faire about, that they were socially open, that they had a great deal of like freedom of speech. This is very weird, dude. I think this is something new.
Well, I don't know. I saw their prime minister woman. Yeah. She wore a hijab and then was like crying at the mosque and stuff. It was like, And
I think that's what these Commonwealth prime ministers do now. They like to play dress up, like Trudeau in Canada. Like, there's this whole dress-up thing, I think, with the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some creepy sounding stuff in here, Vin. I mean, this isn't new. This is 1993 when this particular law was passed, and they're talking about there are people apparently who are examiners of publications, including films, that, the labeling mandates, and then there's the classifications office that can make decisions about publications and notices of decision applications for review. I mean, this is part 4, 5, 6. I mean, I can't even begin to scratch the surface of this exhaustive ordinance that has to do with having some bureaucrats decide what is and what is not okay to possess and to distribute in the country of New Zealand.
Do you think this is because they're Muslim? Like, do you think the New Zealand government is especially afraid of Muslims? Because they haven't pulled this law out for anyone else. This is like, hey, we don't want to have these Muslims in our country get upset, because then they might do something bad. You know, so we want to put down. We want to really put down any sort of the government of New Zealand is overreacting to the degree where they're trying to say like, hey, don't put this video out. You know, it's going to make the Muslims upset. Let me wear this hijab and go cry in front of everyone and say like, oh, we're with you. You know, to try and like make the Muslims not get angry.
Well, I'm sure that they have to have a sizable Muslim population, being as close as they are to like Indonesia, Malaysia. I'm sure that they have a lot. I would guess that that's probably where most of their Muslim immigration comes from. It's probably because it's very close by. I mean, Indonesia is a huge country. I think it's the 3rd or 4th most populous country in the world.
Yeah.
And it's all Muslim.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know. It's probably a lot longer than I think it is, but it's, you know, in terms of countries, New Zealand isn't close to many countries. It's close. It's the closest major country besides Australia. So,
yeah, but to my point, do you think the government is afraid of what the Muslims will do, and so they're a little bit overreacting here? Like, because it's not just their nature. It's not part of their English culture heritage to be like, oh, you know, we always squash free speech. I mean, it's modern day England now, but that's not part of the English tradition. Is they, you know, fought for free speech and openness and free of exchange of ideas and not imprisoning people for possessing a video of reality. You know, that's not part of their culture. And so this stands out as different to me. And I'm wondering if it's they're afraid of what Muslims will do in their country.
I think it's just, you know, status gonna state.
Yeah,
they've got this excuse.
Well, they got to do something, right? So this is how the government always works: is in response. They can't ever stop a thing in advance particularly effectively. I mean, look at the TSA; they suck at by their own testing, detecting bomb-making materials and things like that. It's all security theater. But then when something happens, then all of a sudden these politicians, they get to take to the podiums, they get to weep, and they get to talk about how important it is for them to crack down on semi-automatic rifles, and they're going to take the steps necessary to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Well, that's what the shooter said in his manifesto. He like laid out exactly what was going to happen afterwards, you know, and he said that he used the gun to start a discussion. But he could have done this any number of ways. You know, he could have used trucks the way that some of the Muslims in the other like European countries ran over a little girl. He could have used any method of explosives, of other kinds of things.
And he's acknowledging that he could have done these things, or are you saying
he said it in the manifesto, and he's like, this is why I did it this way, is because they're going to overreact, and they're going to go grab the guns, and then that's going to inspire people who don't want them to grab the guns to rise up
back
and say no.
And he wanted a civil war to come out of it.
It sounds like he
culture war. Yeah,
it sounds like he wanted the sleeping giants around us to be like, look, you got to stand up and do something. This is his vision of the world that he writes about in his manifesto. And then of course they say like, oh, we can't have the manifesto, and Facebook is pulling it down and blocking people, banning them, you know, if they post it. So it's like, I mean, are we supposed to see this stuff and analyze what's going on in the world, or is Facebook going to be our mommy and daddy that lets us know what?
The latter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Get off Facebook.
Yeah.
It sucks. So I'm looking at just clicking in on one part of this law, this 1993 Act, Section 107, inspector may seize publications. And then there's several parts to this, basically saying that if the inspector believes that no label has issued under this act in respect of a film in question, so I guess there's certain labeling, you know, approvals, and kind of like the Motion Picture Association has their ratings. Yeah. This is a government mandated rating system that if it's not, you know, properly labeled or whatever, the inspector may seize the film and any cassette case or other container in or on which that film is kept or offered for public supply.
Cassette case.
Further, they can inspect and seize any publication that is considered restricted. Now, what
does that mean?
I haven't yet found those restricted. Right. You know, there's going to be some sort of laundry list of things that are restricted. But further, anybody who's publicly displaying even a poster advertising this film. So a poster advertising the film, or any advertising poster,
this is nuts,
related to one of these unapproved things, the inspector may seize the poster and deliver it to the secretary.
I couldn't write a more
Wow.
ridiculous law for a movie. Like, I don't think anyone would believe that in a fiction.
Wait, so
This is crazy.
one poster, the inspector's going to seize the poster and then that seems like a waste. Deliver it to the secretary. Oh,
Well, whoever that is, secretary of whoever, probably to do an investigation and find out, who owns the poster.
they got a
fingerprint it.
poster.
Right,
Yeah.
so then they can go and arrest that person and teach everyone a lesson about how you don't put media out without government approval in New Zealand. So, I mean, this is old stuff. The question is, how often is this enforced?
I would say next to never.
But you don't know.
I don't.
You want to believe that it's next to never, because, I mean, if you look at the world rankings of most free countries, New Zealand's usually higher than the United States on those rankings, like significantly so.
Yeah.
But there's some real problems over there. And one of the things with New Zealand is, as I understand, after I researched, what countries could I move to years ago. And one of the downsides or upsides of New Zealand is they don't have a constitution. So whoever it is gets in charge of New Zealand can basically mold the government to whatever they want it to be without any kind of overarching rules. There's more coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live. Hour 2 is next.
Ew, get the stinky dog away from me. Bad breath and bad gas. Petey stopped eating. All his hair fell out.
Itching, licking, missing fur.
At least $5,000 in vet bill. Creams, antibiotics, sprays.
No results.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite. DINOVITE.com. If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy. The omega-3 fatty acids. Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa. The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food. Dinovite is nutrition.
The shedding is stopped and the itching is stopped.
Her coat is now soft, it's silky, it's healthy and shiny and glossy.
She's got life. She's got energy.
Tons of energy, no more bad smells. Dinovite's the bomb. Dinovite is the best thing that's ever happened to my dogs, besides me, of course.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the Liberty Beat for Tuesday, March 19th, 2019. Gold opened the day at $1,309. Silver opened at $15.40. And Bitcoin is trading around $3,997. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd.
By the end of the year, nearly every Major League Baseball team will be using facial recognition. The activist Post reports that last year there were only 9 Major League Baseball teams using Clear's facial recognition to spy on fans. But all of that is about to change. This year, the MLB has decided to go full-blown TSA and put facial recognition cameras in 23 stadiums, which is just 7 shy of the entire league. According to an article published by Business Wire, Major League Baseball plans to scan the faces of millions of baseball fans. The article warned that Clear's broader rollout plan means they will be in every stadium by the end of the year. With Clear becoming the official biometric identity partner of Major League Baseball, the future of spying on sports fans and their families will only get worse. A Cleveland.com article revealed that Clear Biometrics will be scanning fans' faces during this year's Major League Baseball All-Star Weekend in Cleveland, Ohio. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the Liberty Beat for Tuesday, March 19th, 2019. The Liberty Beat is found online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting. Your news now continues. As New Zealand reels from Friday's Christchurch mosque attack that left 50 dead and 50 wounded, residents of New Zealand have begun to voluntarily surrender their legally owned semi-automatic firearms for destruction, ahead of reforms promised over the next several days. Activist Post reports that the reports of citizens disarming themselves come amid a Monday announcement by Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern that several in-principle decisions on gun control have been made by cabinet ministers, and has praised residents who have surrendered their guns to police. Official police figures show that nearly 7,000 New Zealanders are legally allowed to own semi-automatic weapons. Police have advised those who wish to turn theirs in to first call their local police station or arms officer for advice on safely transporting them for destruction. For 6 years, ever since the alleged chemical weapons attack in Syria in 2013, the Western corporate press has stuck with the easily disproven claim that the Syrian government gassed its own people. Activist Post reports that the lie has been repeatedly debunked by researchers in the alternative media, but that hasn't altered the onslaught of propaganda coming from mainstream journalists. Now, one of their own, a mainstream Belgian reporter who was captured by the West Free Syrian Army terrorists, has begun blowing the lid off of the lies that the Syrian government committed the chemical attack. The reporter recently gave an interview with Belgian RTL, where he told of a conversation he heard between rebels that exonerated President Bashar al-Assad and stated clearly that, quote, it wasn't the government of Bashar al-Assad that used sarin gas or any other gas, end quote. As a result, the majority of his scheduled interviews with mainstream outlets were canceled. Support for Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for Liberty Beat for Tuesday, March 19th, 2019, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
U.S. officials assure Hong Kong that their protest is just one of many issues the White House is staying silent on, and an old guy at a hostel is down to party. This is the Onion Week in Review. Stunned officials from the Marine Conservation Institute announced this week that the past half-century of climate change and habitat loss somehow hasn't managed to take down the parrotfish. Biologists stress that despite destructive chemical runoff, rising ocean temperatures, and overfishing, the persistent little shits were somehow plugging right along like nothing had even happened.
You look at the oil spills, greenhouse gases, and God knows what else we're throwing at them, and you think, yeah, those subtropical should have been wiped out decades ago. But nope, these sons of bitches are still around and doing better than ever.
In other news, a grasshopper is dismembered by a future Supreme Court justice. A man having a great time will soon have to apologize to everyone, and Rand Paul pretends to be asleep so his dad will carry him in from the car.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We're talking about censorship, like real censorship. Because when Facebook does it, when Facebook stops you from uploading a video, it's not really censorship because it's not the government doing it. It's just their private platform. They get to decide what the rules are there in the same way that, if you have your own platform, you get to decide the rules on your platform. Presuming you're in a relatively free speech-oriented political jurisdiction where your platform won't be labeled as objectionable. We pulled up the New Zealand law that was 1993, according to, let's see, their legislation. It's the Films, Videos, and Publications Classification Act, which is a lengthy.
Does that have an acronym of some sort?
FVPCA?
FVPCA 1993.
By the way, with you in the studio tonight, it's me, Ian.
And Vin.
Derrick J.
So what brings this conversation up, in case you're just tuning in, is the story, the headline coming out of New Zealand, where a 22-year-old has been arrested for allegedly sharing the video of the New Zealand mosque massacre, which is a horrible video. There's no doubt about it, and I don't recommend anyone watch it.
No.
It's disturbing, very sick, but I think that it should be available. I believe that speech should be free. Even the most objectionable kind of speech and video of a crime happening is still, in my opinion, free speech.
Well, it's a historic event.
For sure.
Did you think that people should have watched the beheading videos that came out a little while ago?
Again, I did not. You're talking about the ISIS beheadings. I watched some of it so I could talk about it on the air, but what I always recommend is for people to not watch these things.
Why?
Because they're horrible.
Yeah, but it's not like it's a horrible movie where it's like, oh, why would you subject yourself to this like torturous event that didn't even happen? But this is like reality. Yeah. This is like actually happening in the world, and it's
hard
kind
to
of
stomach
relevant.
It's
like
relevant.
If you're going to be alive at the same time as these events are happening, I think you have. If you can stomach it, then you have a responsibility to witness it.
It's a good point.
I don't know if I agree. I don't know, because there's also a strong argument that you shouldn't watch it simply because it is what the person who created it wants to happen. They want
so what?
You to see.
They might have liked chocolate ice cream, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop liking that. That's irrelevant. Just because whatever they wanted, like they probably wanted me to read the manifesto, but maybe he has something important to say, or maybe what he said I disagree with, but it tells me an important piece of information about what's going on in my world right now.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
But I don't, at the same time, as somebody who has seen some of these horrifying videos or portions of these horrifying videos, because some of the ones from ISIS were so bad, I had to turn away.
Yeah, they're really bad.
I just don't, I've seen my share of violent things on the internet, and those were some of the worst.
Which one was worse?
Oh, dude, the beheadings for me, I've seen multiple beheading videos, both of ISIS ones, and I've seen some of the Mexican cartel ones as well. And for me, those are just much worse.
Yeah.
They're just much more intimate. There
was one where they slaughtered by beheading a whole crew of people. Like
ISIS.
ISIS. Yeah, they had captured like a large group of men, and they had dudes. Like it was very cinematic. Where at the beginning of the video, like it's set to music, there's slow-mo
I've seen this one.
being
They've
used.
got 'em
they're
in
handing out
jumpsuits.
knives.
They've got 'em in,
I think so, yeah.
Oh
and they're
my
handing
gosh.
out knives at the beginning. So there's like, I don't know, at least a dozen, maybe 20 victims that they have lined up. It was like on a beach, I think.
Yep.
And they hand out knives, and there's like slow-mo of the guys just taking knives, and then they all each man from ISIS gets behind one of the men that's bound on the beach. They put them down.
And were these did these guys do something bad, like at all, or were they just?
I forget what the allegations were. It was like
prisoners of war.
It was
probably.
a military group of some sort of opposition to ISIS. It's been a while since we've talked about it, but then there's like multiple cameras. It's a very well produced thing that they were doing over there. Close-ups of people having their necks sawed. I mean, it's not something that people really want to see. So, and like I said, I don't think they should be unavailable. I think they should be available. So anybody that feels as you do, like I need to see this. I need to have some understanding of what this is all about.
Well, apparently I missed this one, so I haven't taken my own medicine.
Well, and they're hard to find too. So in the moment when the first news hits about it, they're hard to find. You have to really look, and then maybe you'll find it somewhere on the internet. But then it's probably like if you went to try to find that video today, I don't know where you would begin. I mean, it would be very, very difficult because they're suppressed.
That's what I see as the problem is this is the Orwellian memory hole problem. Is I'm not as concerned about somebody watching it in the moment. I think it's enough to have the story, to have the conversation, whatever, but 5, 10, 20, 25 years down the road, I think after time has passed, you imagine if we didn't have pictures of things that happened during the Holocaust, if we didn't have the pictures of...
There'd be Holocaust deniers.
Well, there still are, but having the photos is
the more
certainly
evidence
useful.
that we can pile on for an event having happened, the less denial there can be.
But that's how you don't get a repeat, is I guess. So it's the same thing. Like, I think it's very wrong that in Germany, Hitler's book Mein Kampf is banned. And I'm like, that's about the dumbest thing you could possibly do, German people. What do you want to repeat?
Right.
You want to repeat? No, it should be mandatory that you read it.
Well,
and if you're a German student, it should be mandatory.
That's kind of taking it in the other direction.
Well, it should be mandatory that it's read and critiqued, not that it's read as like this was a good thing, but that you read it and then you're like, look, and what happened after this was our country was basically destroyed.
Yeah,
destroyed by this. So take a look. This is destructive. But when you're just like, nope, can't read it, can't read it.
Yep.
Then, young Germans are like, well, maybe he was right. I don't know. So it's when you hide. That's what I'm most worried about, is that you memory hold it, you take it out, you suppress it from history. Then that's how you get a repeat.
Sure. And it does to some extent make it more sexy, right? Like if you can get the banned book. I mean, who doesn't want to read the banned book? That's more interesting. When a book is banned, I'd be like, what's that all about? Because it would make me more interested in it.
Well, in Soviet Russia, they had a whole system called Samizdat, and that was nothing but banned books. And it was like a system, an underground system of moving books between people, and that disrupted, the Soviet Union. And it's like, you don't want to have. Jeffrey Tucker has a good thing about this, and he says the exact same thing, that it's like, why would you take these things that are so obnoxious and truly objectionable and then make them sexy? Because there's always rebels in the world. There's always going to be rebels. Why would you want those rebels who are wanting to potentially cause havoc? Why would you just tell them, okay, here's the
what
list
you shouldn't read.
Here's your reading list. Here's the reading list. This is what's banned. Go read it, and they're going to read it. You know?
Twitch has Twitch is our video streaming platform. They do video game streaming primarily, and they have a list of banned games on Twitch.
So that's what you
play. It's like, what is in those games? Now I want to know. It's disturbing stuff, though. So one of the other reasons why I don't want to recommend people watch these videos is because watching people being murdered is not something that people are like tuned for. It's wrong. It feels sick. And so there have been some stories recently, for instance, about content moderators on like YouTube or Facebook, for instance, whose job it is. It's their job to watch videos of people being slaughtered and all the horrible things that somebody hits the report button on.
Can you imagine Facebook? That HR department? It's be a nightmare.
Well, right. I read that story, and it was like that they were having PTSD and all kind of stuff.
Yeah, like breakdowns, crying, PTSD.
Well, good. I almost say that's good because that's healthy. Like people should not.
That's what I'm arguing here. I don't think it is healthy. I really don't think it is. Like, as somebody who's seen some of these things, I don't want to see it. Like as I'm watching it, it does not feel.
So you think it's just okay? It's enough for people to know what's in the video without having just seeing the details themselves. They don't need to see the gritty details.
That's part of the reason why I watch it is so I can explain on the air what I saw. And that way I can avoid other people having to go and see it. There's more coming up here, 855, 450 free. That said, I posted the link to the DTube, which apparently was taken down. I thought you couldn't stop things from DTube. One of our listeners reported today that link, I haven't checked it for myself, is down. We'll check it out coming up. Free Talk Live.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block, and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dinovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies,
grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it,
and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dynavite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic.
Inviting you and your pets to Dynavite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. TheMorganReport.com. TheMorganReport.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free to bring up whatever you want here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. So I had somebody ask me earlier today on Mastodon, which is the decentralized alternative to Twitter, which I love, and it's fantastic. And it's free, of course. And since it's decentralized, it's basically impervious to central control and takedowns. Now, that's not entirely true because each individual who runs a server for Mastodon does get to decide whatever the policies are.
Nice.
But if you wanted to run an uncensored server, you could do that with Mastodon. So somebody had asked me, hey, what's the link to the Virginia shooting, but the New Zealand shooting video, and I just kind of found the link that I had shared previously on DTube, which is supposed to be like some kind of blockchain-based, I don't know what it's working on. I don't know if it's Steam.
I'm pretty sure it's Steam.
But,
sure. Yeah.
Or whatever. Or maybe it's Steam plus IPFS or something like that. I'm still not clear on exactly what it is. But the big claim with DTube is like, hey, it's blockchain. It's not censorable. Well, according to Red Steak Raw on Mastodon, he says it looks like there's some shenanigans going on. Because I just pasted the link without checking it. I figured it's DTube. It's fine. It's the shooting video from New Zealand. It's disturbing, but people should have the right to access it. So I sent him the link. And he says DTube is redirecting to their main page, and it's no longer on Fusion Phil's DTube channel. That's the person who had uploaded it. He says, I'm concerned since New Zealand has blocked Gab's dissenter website and is strong-arming websites to snitch on New Zealand users. Now DTube has caved. So it's down, and you can't even... Like, the guys in the chat room right now on the Discord server are unable to find anything on DTube at all about this. So very disturbing stuff, and we had just gotten into talking about this New Zealand law that was passed in 1993, and it's just the latest version of a censorship law in New Zealand, which has had censorship policies going back decades and decades. This article on censorship in New Zealand, it chronicles all the way back to as early as 1850. But if we just look at the more recent things that were being done, because our question was, well, is this something that's new? Because they arrested a guy, a 22-year-old in New Zealand, for sharing the New Zealand shooting video. And they're charging him under this act, which is the Films, Videos, and Publications Classifications Act of 1993.
It seems like they want blood. Like this, they can't get blood from the guy who actually committed the crime.
Well, I mean, they got him. He's in custody.
Oh yeah, good point. Well, right,
and they didn't kill him,
right?
Which is different than what they would have done in the U.S., right? Like the police in New Zealand used some restraint here. If this same thing had happened,
now here's what was so interesting about the arrest. He was actually arrested by two off-duty cops.
No, they were off-duty?
Happened to be coming home from a drill. There's always a drill.
What?
They were coming home from a terrorism drill. And they were off duty. I don't understand how that works exactly, but
well, if it's a felon, basically, at least in the Western world, as I understand it, if there's a felony being committed and you're an off-duty cop, you absolutely can, get
Were they just listening to a scanner though? Like that's what I'm trying to figure out. How did they even
they heard the noise? Like maybe they were that close.
No, he was driving.
Oh.
They were in a cruiser, I think. I think they were in a marked police cruiser because I saw the video of the arrest. Somebody had a cell phone video of this person
they were
being
coming
arrested.
back from a drill.
Right, so they probably had their two-way in the cruiser that was
I got it.
alerting them, all points bulletin, Bolo, be on the lookout.
Well, my point is that maybe it's not enough to just get the shooter. It seems like people want justice, right? And so you gotta have
they want a total
opposite reaction to this guy's crime. And so anyone who distributes the video or makes this guy in any way a hero, it needs to be attacked,
So just a couple of examples, because our question was, is this unusual, this enforcement of this film classifications, this media classifications act? And it doesn't sound like it. Not only can they restrict film, but they can also restrict video games. Apparently, at one point, they restricted T-shirts. We'll get into just a couple of examples.
So, when's the most recent time when they banned something under this law?
So, video game censorship in New Zealand, they are censored under the 1993 Act. They are evaluated by the OFLC.
So 1993 was a long time ago. I mean, has there been anything since?
Under the same criteria, notably in 2003, the video game Manhunt became the first game to be banned by the OFLC.
Right.
The extremely graphic nature of the game led them to consider it injurious to the public good and garnered the game a classification of objectionable.
Yeah.
In particular, they pointed out the game rewarded players for particularly brutal killings and forcing the player to kill to progress the story over a non-trivial length of time. Since then, several more games have been banned.
So now here's my question.
Yeah.
It seems like there is a process for this, right? It seems like there is a process. It's hard for me to believe that this process can be done, this bureaucratic process can be done in a day.
Oh, executive decision, a guy was like, this is beyond the pale. We don't need to run this through the regular system. I know what's best. And this video is not okay, right? That's the mentality, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Very authoritarian to me.
Of course
man.
it is. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. And it may not have even been that, Derrick. It may have been the cops just saying, well, we believe this video will be classified as objectionable, so we're just going to preemptively arrest you.
Yeah.
And then later on, they'll classify it as objectionable, and our charges will stick.
So is it the people of New Zealand or the people of the world's responsibility, people who believe in freedom or liberals, to advocate for free speech all the time, every day, always, just to prevent this sort of thing from happening? Because it seems like if you don't, then this is what is going to inevitably happen. People will forget that freedom of speech is important, and then they'll do things like
I think it's what you said before, though. I think that in New Zealand, freedom of speech is not important to these people.
Not a value.
They don't have that there. Look, Reservoir Dogs was banned in New Zealand, according to this, because it, quote, tends to promote and support the infliction of extreme violence and extreme cruelty for the purpose of entertainment. Now, I don't know if there was a Reservoir... Okay, apparently it's a game. It's the Reservoir Dogs video game.
Oh, the game, not the movie. Okay.
Postal 2, Postal 3, Manhunt 2. I mean, there's several of these games here.
So that is their value. They are anti-free speech. That is, they're against that.
And it's not just violence. It's also sex. Valkyrie Drive Bikinihuni was banned because, quote, it tends to promote and support incest between the two lead focal sisters. Now, I've never heard of the game, but it's been banned in New Zealand. And so here's the...
Interesting.
Let's see. What is their definition of objectionable? So this is the term that they're labeling these videos and these video games and apparently T-shirts even, according to... notable cases, this list here of things that, just real quick, another list of things banned. T-shirt censored in New Zealand, 2007, one that advertised the album of Cradle of Filth, an extreme metal band out of Britain.
What was on the T-shirt? Nice. What was on the T-shirt?
The shirt displayed an image of a mostly nude Roman Catholic nun playing with herself, and the text, which I cannot say on the radio, Jesus is a C word. Cannot say the C word on the radio.
But forcing women to wear a hijab is still okay there, right?
Clearly.
Maybe.
Clearly. Yeah.
The Peaceful Pill Handbook, a book banned in 2008. The book was about how to carry out euthanasia. Not allowed in New Zealand to even learn about euthanasia.
What about FGM?
More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon you'll need a plan and place to survive. Forget bunkers. You're not a live underground gopher. You need survivalist camps, the ultimate fully functional, off-the-grid mobile survival bug-out house that's well-equipped and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Bold statement? You bet. See them now at survivalistcamps.com. That's survivalistcamps.com. Trust your family's survival to survivalistcamps.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar! That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free. Bring up anything that you want here. Our number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We do have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. Just go to discord.lrn.fm, and we'll see you in there and join you, and then you'll be on the air with us. And you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with me, Ian.
And Vin.
Derrick J.
We're going to get to your calls and thoughts. We've been sharing a disturbing story. Just one of them. There's a bunch. I've got several disturbing stories coming out of New Zealand tonight. Over the past couple of days, including a crackdown against 4chan, 8chan, and other websites, including video hosting platform LiveLeak. These sites are being prohibited by the telephone companies, by the internet service providers, apparently, in New Zealand. And we can tell you more about that coming up here. Your calls and thoughts are certainly welcome. We've been digging into this awful legislation that passed in 1993, but was just an update, basically, on other, anti-freedom, anti-free speech rules that have been in place in New Zealand for many decades. This one bans anything that is considered as, quote, objectionable. And, of course, there are inspectors, government bureaucrats, whose job it is to take submissions from companies who want to release a video game or want to release a movie or want to release a book or something like that. It's got to go through the government censorship office.
Wow.
And so we went through a list of some of the things that they've censored over the years. So they are definitely enforcing this stuff. But I just wanted to share what their definition of objectionable is.
Yes, please.
Which is, of course, a 2-page long thing. So I'm just going to summarize and share only excerpts from this. But for the purposes of this act, a publication is objectionable if it describes, depicts, expresses, or otherwise deals with matters such as sex, horror, crime, cruelty, or violence in such a manner that the availability of the publication is likely to be injurious to the public good.
Well, that's about as broad as it could possibly be.
It's completely up to the, inspector. It's totally within, the purview of this bureaucrat, whoever they are, to make these decisions about content. And then it goes on, talks about, sex with children. Obviously, that's going to be prohibited. But then also the use of violence or coercion to compel any person to participate in or submit to sexual contact. So like a like a rape video or something like that. Sexual conduct upon the body of a dead person, the use of bodily fluids, I'm not going to say which ones, in associating with degrading or dehumanizing conduct or sexual conduct, bestiality. Again,
but I think that's going to be prohibited in most countries. What you just described.
Most countries don't have freedom of speech.
I think some of that stuff is prohibited in the United States.
Some of it is. You're right.
So
we don't have freedom of speech either, but we've got more of it than most places.
Exactly, yeah.
So bestiality is illegal to conduct in most places, but not in all, from what I understand, in the United States. And there's,
is that right?
As I understand it, there's like a couple of states with some really outdated legislation that surprisingly hasn't been updated. I don't follow these things closely, but that's what I've heard, Vin. So maybe I'm wrong about it. But the video of the crime being committed, I don't know if that's illegal in most places in the United States.
Interesting.
Aren't there websites?
There are websites.
Yeah.
There's websites for pretty much everything, though.
And then also acts of torture or the infliction of extreme violence or extreme cruelty. So basically, all of the ISIS videos would be illegal in New Zealand.
But are they... I didn't see them taking down 4chan and 8chan and LiveLeak. LiveLeak has had beheading videos on it forever. It's had torture
they stopped
videos
putting
on
those
it forever.
up. LiveLeak had a policy that came out during the ISIS situation where they actually wrote about why they won't share those videos anymore. Why they won't allow them to
Why
share.
was it?
It kind of came back to some of the things that I had expressed earlier. That they didn't want to give attention to these people because to some extent the argument is
then you're the propagandist.
Well, right, that you're helping them get their message out, and that I understand what the editorial perspective is. Like, I don't think they're necessarily wrong for making that choice, while I do believe those things should be available.
But New Zealand didn't. My point is that New Zealand did not take down LiveLink when they did have those videos. They had a great many of them.
We don't know. Now they're banning, the telcos are banning LiveLeak.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So this is a new development.
Yeah, that much is true.
Have you guys heard about the catapult video and the concept of
this
being
is
able
Ernie
to,
Hancock, right?
Yeah. Okay,
this?
so Ernie Hancock of Declare Your Independence has this wild idea for a way to store information digitally so that you could have a website or a place to store videos or texts or whatever, that it couldn't be shut down. And the only way you would provably know that it couldn't be shut down is if you had a video of cats being catapulted off a cliff and then just violently dying in
because everyone hates
mess.
that kind of video.
Because everyone's like, well, cats rule the internet. You can't just have a senseless video of killing cats. But if that video couldn't be taken down, then you know that this web server is secure.
Seems like a good test.
If we could build, I mean, is that?
I'm not advocating so much to make
it's
that
like
video.
It's like the Turing test of online censorship.
Exactly. So that seems like the real solution, and it's just the right time to pull something like that out, to store these types of videos, because people have a right. I don't know if we have a right to see it, but I think people should be able to see it if they want to see actual reality. If they want to, this is real life. Why
I agree.
should it be hidden from them?
I agree. It should not be hidden. However, I don't recommend people view these things.
And I don't want to be the one storing it either. I don't want to be, even though I feel like people should have the right to see this video, I don't want to be like serving this video out to people.
Sure. It's
that
a strange
would make me feel
position.
icky.
Yeah, it's a strange position to come from.
Who should be doing it then? Who do we think should actually be
the blockchain doesn't decide those things, right? Like
I think IPFS. If it passes through,
then someone's got to store it, even with IPFS.
Well, you've got to pin it. Somebody's got to pin it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to necessarily know what you're pinning. There's plausible deniability once the scale gets large enough, right? Because you're pinning a hash, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you know what that hash is.
So, in other words, people can look up the full video, and you're helping distribute it to them, but you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. Well, you wouldn't know.
Well, like some of these distributed file storages, which is like what IPFS is, right? It's like a distributed file storage system.
I wouldn't want to be serving stuff that I don't even know what it is.
Well, that's the thing. That's what all these...
That's the trade-off.
Yeah. So like storage, and there's these other ones out there where it's blockchain-based and user-based.
Could this be put up on library? Like,
sure,
they
it
censor?
could. No, they couldn't. What they can do on Library is they can change the URL if it gets outbid. So there's a bidding process where when you upload a video to Library, let's say we put Victimless Crime Spree up there,
right?
And then there's slash Victimless Crime Spree, whatever the URL is that you have assigned to that.
Someone malicious
Somebody
could go buy
come
that
along and essentially upvote, or not upvote, but bid out your URL and take it over.
Do you get the money if they bid you out?
I doubt it.
That would be cool.
Probably not.
I don't know about that. I don't know enough about how that process works, because I know that the video will still be there, because it just won't be at that URL anymore.
They put the gun files, the Cody Wilson printable 3D gun file, right? They put that on Library as soon as the state was like, no, you can't publish these.
That's right.
Was Library was it around back then?
It was just recently.
Yeah,
this was just recently that this happened.
The 3D gun files came out years ago.
Yeah, but this was like a year ago when they said that you're not allowed to sell it or something. And Library was like,
okay.
They're like, we'll put it on our thing.
Yeah.
So
no, I thought they said he was allowed to sell it. He wasn't allowed to give it away, which was the craziest part about it. They're like, you could sell it all you want. That's legal. But to give it away, no, sir.
That's not American.
1 cent. One Satoshi.
Well, he just said, name your own price.
Yeah.
Right.
Donate, whatever.
Yeah.
A little bit more here, and we'll get to your calls and thoughts. The publication shall be deemed objectionable. Should be classified by blah, blah, blah. If it depicts, or otherwise deals with sexual violence or sexual coercion, other sexual physical contact of a degrading or dehumanizing or demeaning nature. They mention, of course, sex with children, physical conduct in which sexual satisfaction is derived from inflicting cruelty or pain. So, like BDSM videos, which in some places, some circles are very popular.
Silence of the Lambs.
Sounds like that is outlawed in New Zealand. And, this is just the tip of the iceberg, guys. We don't live there. We're coming up.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up anything you want. Our number here, 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Vin.
Derrick J.
And don't forget, Bitcoin.com, your premier source for everything Bitcoin related, whether it's helping you choose a Bitcoin wallet, buying your first fraction of a Bitcoin, or maybe a whole one, and showing you where you can spend your Bitcoin, plus reading the latest news headlines over their news site and engaging with the community on the Bitcoin forum. Those are just a fraction of the features that they have waiting for you over at Bitcoin.com. So whether you're brand new to cryptocurrency and you've never learned thing number one about it, you are welcome at Bitcoin.com, or if you're an expert and you've been around for a while, you're still going to find useful information, especially on that news site over at Bitcoin.com. As we continue here, let's go to the phones and your calls and thoughts. We got Ripple on the line in Vegas. You're on Free Talk Live. You're on our Discord.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
The Twitter blocking and banning and shadow banning and censoring, I don't agree with that. And I had some suggestions of ways they could handle that better, and I wanted to get your opinion on those suggestions.
Sure.
On Twitter, you could see when you click on someone's profile how many followers they have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think it'd be good if you could see how many people block them, like right underneath it.
Why?
Know, and then so that way you could see, so people could be held accountable. You could.
And what does that hold? How does that hold them accountable exactly?
Because instead of making them like just disappear, and then their bad ideas, not getting challenged and, shoving them into a dark corner of the internet.
Yeah, so what you're saying is it would give a more detailed view, if just a little more detail of how unpopular the person is in addition to how popular they are?
Yeah. I know that an unlike button was suggested a while ago for Facebook, and it was declined. They didn't think it was a good idea or whatever. But
well, because it's negative,
like
right?
that.
Like it's being negative.
Well,
but they have the angry
YouTube has thumbs up, thumbs down. Reddit has upvote, downvote.
Yeah,
so.
That's true. But Reddit, will they show you negatives? Yeah, they will. Won't they?
Oh yeah.
If you get into
downvote. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not unheard of what you're talking about. But
yeah, I was thinking it'd be good to, if you click on their profile, you could see, they have 1,000 bans, and then you could look at the posts that got them banned as well. So you could kind of get an idea.
They got them banned.
I want to ban.
You mean blocked? You mean blocked by
or muted
by another user?
Yeah, I think they say muted on Twitter.
So there will be a discrepancy though between, just because of the way Twitter works. If I like somebody, I want to follow their posts. That's why I like them, right? So I follow both of y'all's posts on Twitter, Derrick J and Vin. But I wouldn't go to someone's page who I don't like and then specifically block them. The only time I'm going to block somebody on Twitter is if they're annoying the crap out of me from like direct messages or replying or trolling to the point where I'm sick of it or whatever. So I'm not going to block near as many people as I'm going to like. So it's going to be anybody, even somebody like a Chris Cantwell, is going to have probably more likes than they have blocks, because why would you go to someone's page specifically so you can block them? You weren't seeing them anyway.
Yeah, but what if this guy's idea was reality and you could see how many blocks a person got? Maybe you would go to certain people's Twitters and block them just to
it would
cast your vote.
A part of the interface when you get a post that's offensive or whatever, and you're going to consider blocking them, and you hit the block button, like
right. But I wouldn't see that post generally unless I were already following that person.
Right.
Because Twitter is, they're not going to show you posts unless you're searching, right? So generally, when you go to Twitter, you're only seeing the posts from the people who you want to see.
Well, what I would want to see is what I think would be awesome, and maybe a third party can do this, but I don't think we have the data coming from the API. I want to see the trending blocked posts, or like the trending. The trending reported, let's say. So like
the most interesting.
Those would be the most interesting tweets. Would be the most reported. Like I want to see what's been the most reported tweet of the day that people have been like, I'm reporting this.
Right.
I want those tweets. That is the most interesting data set in all of Twitter. That's the most that would make Twitter so fun. I would love that.
Could be like a WikiLeaks for Twitter, like a Twitter leak. Someone on the inside who's like, "Oh, I'll just publish all these."
Well, there are those sites that use whatever API that Twitter has, or they're just following feeds, or however it is they're doing it. But where they'll pull politicians' posts and they automatically ingest them into their own database. So when Trump makes a post and then he's like, oops, I messed up, and then goes and deletes the post. Well, it's already in this database of this other, and I don't remember what the site's name is, but there's like basically this undeletable Twitter archive where they're following all these politicians, basically, and it's an interesting way to kind of hold them accountable for the posts they wanted to delete.
Speaking of archives, I went to the Internet Archive to read the manifesto where I read it before.
Yeah.
Gone.
They took it down from the Internet Archive?
Yeah.
That's literally the Orwellian memory hole right there. Like when you change history.
That's so disappointing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Did you have more to say, Ripple? If so, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to commend you guys for, having Cantwell on and just exposing, his bad ideas and allowing, people to learn that need to, and I love you guys. And
thanks, brother. I appreciate your call tonight, Ripple. And I tend to agree with that, even though I don't agree with what Cantwell has to say. I do think it's important that what he has to say is rebutted. And I understand some people don't like it. Stop giving him a platform. Well, we're on the internet when we have Cantwell on. It's not like we're putting him on 194 radio stations. We're putting him on an internet platform where he can say a little bit more and we can rebut him without having to watch our language or anything like that.
If bad ideas aren't refuted, how do you know that it's a bad idea?
Great point.
Are you doing that regularly or something? I
thought
this
it's
was
happened a
one-time
couple
thing.
times.
Okay.
There was the one where I had him in with Johnson on a Freer Talk Live after show.
Yeah.
That was back in January. And then
how did that rate compared to your other view counts?
Very high compared to the rest of them.
People want to watch Cantwell, man.
They want to watch drama, and Cantwell brings that. That's for sure. But then this past Friday, so before the weekend, after Free Talk Live, there was She-Male versus Nazi, a very special...
It didn't happen.
Yeah, it did.
It didn't even happen.
It happened for 45 minutes.
I was waiting. I was watching. No, and then he leaves.
Well, he got up and stormed out.
It was all ruined.
Wait, what was it? Who?
They never got to do anything.
They talked for 45 minutes. They took a few phone calls, and then a caller, Turd Ferguson from the Discord chat.
Great, Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, called in, and he called Chris something like Christopher Cuxwell or something, but I think he also used the C word in there as well.
Yeah.
So,
oh boy.
Yeah. And so Chris got offended and triggered, and he got up and demanded that Arya hang up on the caller.
Wow.
And,
what did you think of that, by the way?
About Chris bailing?
Demanding to hang up on a caller. I mean, should have...
I think he was out of line.
Yeah.
Personally. I think that had had Turd Ferguson just called to insult Chris, I think that at some point you would have wanted to hang up on him, if that's all it was. Yeah. But I think all he did was he opened his call with an insult, which isn't uncommon for Chris on his show. People call his show and are very rude constantly.
I think that's being a good sportsman. That's
coming in with
good
an insult?
Sportsmanship, yeah.
I'm not sure if that's the definition of good sportsman.
Well, you want to lead. You want to lead with the strong left hook.
That's part of the game.
That's
a game
Mike
for
Tyson
sure.
style. You come in, you charge in like a raging bull.
I thought it was nice. He should have kept the call. He should have listened.
Kept it. He should have done.
The stronger position would be to just laugh when someone insults you. Ha ha ha! That's funny, and then laugh it off, and then you're strong. That's a strong position. When you have to walk out, it shows weakness.
Right, and so he was demanding that Arya hang up on him, or else he was going to leave. And Arya was like, "Well, it's open phones here." So, and I think
that's tough because then once you make the stipulation that you got to hang up on them, or I'm going to leave, then you have to leave. So it's like,
right.
I think he messed up.
And it wasn't the first time Chris had done something like that.
Walked out.
Not here, but I think it was Vincent from Questioning Authority, who is another show on LRN.FM, the Saturday night show. He found a video or maybe it was audio, but either way, Chris was on some other show, and it was like a right-wing Nazi show that he was on, but somebody called in who was not friendly to Chris, and Chris did the same thing, where he demanded that if that person weren't hung up on, he was going to be off the show.
It's too emotional.
Wow.
Yeah. So the point that was made was Chris can dish it out, but he can't take it. And I think that's a fair point for somebody to make about that. The video of that walkout, by the way, is over at freekeen.com. So if you want to see it happen, it's pretty entertaining. You can check that out. freekeen.com. We'll continue. We'll take your calls and thoughts about what you want. Coming up, the telcos targeting 4chan. Not allowed to access that if you are on some major Australian telecommunications companies, internet service providers in New Zealand. More coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
Pain in my neck, back, and shoulders has really gotten worse.
Relief for body pain is here with Sunny Bay heating pads.
Well, the last thing I want is to take another pill, so what's so good about Sunny Bay heating pads?
Sunny Bay heating pads, made by Biomed DB Design right here in the USA, come in all sizes. Our extra large microwavable heating pad for back pain is designed to be large enough to cover your entire back. It's also perfect to wrap around your legs, knees, or shoulder and neck.
But I need to know they're good quality.
Of course, Sunny Bay heating pads and pillows are often an Amazon choice, and it's easy and most affordable when you purchase your Sunny Bay heating pads right from our website, sunshinepillows.com, or call us 253-678-1361.
Hey, a Sunny Bay heating pad
would make a great gift, right?
Yes, and they start at just $19.99 and free shipping is available. So call 253-678-1361 or shop for your Sunny Bay heating pad at sunshinepillows.com.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the Liberty Beat for Tuesday, March 19th, 2019. Gold opened the day at $1,309. Silver opened at $15.40. And Bitcoin is trading around $3,997. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd.
By the end of the year, nearly every Major League Baseball team will be using facial recognition. The Activist Post reports that last year there were only 9 Major League Baseball teams using Clear's facial recognition to spy on fans. But all of that is about to change. This year, the MLB has decided to go full-blown TSA and put facial recognition cameras in 23 stadiums, which is just 7 shy of the entire league. According to an article published by Business Wire, Major League Baseball plans to scan the faces of millions of baseball fans. The article warned that Clear's broader rollout plan means they will be in every stadium by the end of the year. With Clear becoming the official biometric identity partner of Major League Baseball, the future of spying on sports fans and their families will only get worse. A Cleveland.com article revealed that Clear Biometrics will be scanning fans' faces during this year's Major League Baseball All-Star Weekend in Cleveland, Ohio. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the Liberty Beat for Tuesday, March 19th, 2019. The Liberty Beat is found online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting. Your news now continues. As New Zealand reels from Friday's Christchurch mosque attack that left 50 dead and 50 wounded, residents of New Zealand have begun to voluntarily surrender their legally owned semi-automatic firearms for destruction, ahead of reforms promised over the next several days. Activist Post reports that the reports of citizens disarming themselves come amid a Monday announcement by Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern that several in-principle decisions on gun control have been made by cabinet ministers, and has praised residents who have surrendered their guns to police. Official police figures show that nearly 7,000 New Zealanders are legally allowed to own semi-automatic weapons. Police have advised those who wish to turn theirs in to first call their local police station or arms officer for advice on safely transporting them for destruction. For 6 years, ever since the alleged chemical weapons attack in Syria in 2013, the Western corporate press has stuck with the easily disproven claim that the Syrian government gassed its own people. Activist Post reports that the lie has been repeatedly debunked by researchers in the alternative media, but that hasn't altered the onslaught of propaganda coming from mainstream journalists. Now, one of their own, a mainstream Belgian reporter who was captured by the West's Free Syrian Army terrorists, has begun blowing the lid off of the lies that the Syrian government committed the chemical attack. The reporter recently gave an interview with Belgian RTL, where he told of a conversation he heard between rebels that exonerated President Bashar al-Assad and stated clearly that, quote, it wasn't the government of Bashar al-Assad that used sarin gas or any other gas, end quote. As a result, the majority of his scheduled interviews with mainstream outlets were canceled. Support for Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for Liberty Beat for Tuesday, March 19th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
The Surgeon General warns teens the cinnamon challenge is not for pussies. Taylor Swift is now dating the Watertown boat, and a middle-aged funeral director buys a flashy red hearse. We pity your pathetic dependence on this for your weekly news, but here we go anyway. This is the Onion Week in Review. A study released this week by the National Institutes of Health confirmed that for the 25th straight year, wolf attacks remain the leading cause of death in the United States. The Human Health Agency's findings confirmed that being viciously killed by a ravenous wolf claimed the lives of over 800 100,000 Americans last year alone, with researchers adding that one person in the United States dies every 40 seconds from a violent wolf attack.
The mortality rate associated with wolf attacks vastly outstrips the death tolls of cancer, stroke, and chronic respiratory disease. People should know that anyone... Oh, Jesus, no.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. Launching into the third hour of the program, you can dial toll-free to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Here in the studio tonight with you, it's Ian.
And Vin.
Derrick J.
Disturbing news coming out of New Zealand, and as we learned over the last couple hours, it's not unusual for New Zealand to crack down on so-called objectionable media, which can include T-shirts, apparently. T-shirts, books, movies.
How do you censor a
games.
T-shirt?
You tell them you can't have it, and then anybody that's seen with it, they get arrested.
So you get arrested if you're wearing a particular T-shirt there.
You must, right?
That's
like, how
crazy.
else can the government enforce its laws, right? I mean, that's their tool.
That's
is violence.
crazy to me.
That's what they do. According to, so they banned books, they've banned shirts, they banned music, they've banned movies, and there's also internet restrictions, of course, as you might imagine.
Wait, not from a 1993 law, there's not.
No, that's
true.
true.
It must be an update.
There's a whole other article about that. The government of New Zealand has a system, according to Wikipedia, for filtering website traffic to prevent internet users from accessing certain selected sites and material. While there are many types of objectionable content under New Zealand law, the filter specifically targets content depicting the sexual abuse or exploitation of children and young persons. Okay. However, as we have pointed out on this show in the past, that's how the camel's nose gets under the tent.
That's right.
Now, I think pretty much everybody looks at the idea of child porn and says that's despicable, that's awful, terrible, should be banned. Mm-hmm. But, of course, if you can ban one thing, in this case, evidence of a crime, because that's what child pornography is, sort of like the evidence of the crime of the shooting down in New Zealand. It's all just evidence of crime being committed. If you can ban one evidence of a crime, then why shouldn't you be able to ban another evidence of a different crime? And sure enough, now the news coming out that several websites are being blocked by telecommunications providers in Australia.
Wait, Australia?
Yep. The story here from 9news.com.au. They have been blocked by major Australian telcos for continuing to host footage of the Christchurch terrorist attack. Telstra on Tuesday blocked access to 4chan, 8chan, and Voat, the blog Zero Hedge, and video hosting platform LiveLeak.
Wait, is Zero Hedge is hosting the video? I've not heard. I don't know that this is true.
I don't either. I haven't been on the site.
I do not believe that to be true. So something's either wrong in the reporting, or
maybe they linked to it. Maybe they're not hosting it, but they linked to it. Yeah. That's good enough for most governments.
So you
remember here in the U.S., they put Barrett Brown in prison for linking to things.
That's right.
So, I mean, the U.S. is better, but it ain't a whole lot better. Quote, we understand, Telstra said, quote, we understand this may inconvenience some legitimate users of these sites, but these are extreme circumstances, and we feel this is the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're trying to do the right thing.
See, it's all about their feelings. We got to protect people's feelings.
Extreme circumstances require extreme measures.
Right? Extreme crackdowns on freedom.
Yeah.
Let's try and understand really where they're coming from, though, because they are trying to do the right thing, right?
I don't agree.
You don't think that
this is not the right thing.
Okay.
Censorship is not the right thing.
Right, but just setting aside the action that they're taking, the intention is to do the right thing.
But what is the right thing? Can you define that, please?
What is moral? Like, what is, moral?
By whose moral compass is the question. There is no
I think it's immoral to put somebody in a jail cell for sharing a video on the internet.
Yeah, I agree with you, but
Right.
I'm trying.
You're playing devil's advocate.
No, I'm trying to understand where these people are coming from, because really, I see this on a much smaller scale happening every day with small things in my life. Like in my city, there's a city councilor who wants to ban plastic bags and straws, and I'm like, oh man, you don't get it. It's prohibition. It's not, and I can't make the case that like, oh, banning a plastic bag is just as bad as caging a person for hosting a video. But it's a measure of degree.
Sure.
These people are saying, the argument is, you shouldn't do this.
So therefore, we're not going to allow you to do it.
Yeah, and then it takes a whole nother leap to say, I'm going to cage you for doing that. And that's the small difference, but it's a small distinction, but it's a big difference, if that makes sense.
Competitors Optus and Vodafone declined to name which domains they've blocked, but the same platforms also failed to load on their networks Tuesday afternoon.
Oh, beautiful.
Curiously, the ban on 4chan was lifted a few hours later.
When they got busted. That's
the
why.
ban was lifted.
By which ones, though?
It's not clear.
Yeah.
The ban on 4chan was lifted a few hours later. Do you think 4chan came at them with hackers and you better not ban? Why would they ban them and then all of a sudden reverse decision on that? That's strange.
That is a weird one.
Vodafone said while blocking requests normally came from the courts or law enforcement agencies, quote, this was an extreme case which we think requires an extraordinary response. Further, a spokeswoman said in a statement, quote, while there were discussions at an industry level about this issue, this is a decision Vodafone Australia came to independently.
So it wasn't the government
That's correct.
requesting. They just decided on their own.
That's correct.
I think that is far beyond what should. I don't think it is moral. I don't think an internet service provider. I think if you're going to be in the business of being an internet service provider,
you shouldn't filter.
You provide a pipe. That's it. You don't get.
I agree.
Wait a minute.
If it's not illegal, if you're not required by either law or you're not receiving something from a government regulator who's saying take it down, I think it is actually immoral and unethical for you to not give me access to anything that I want access to. If
No
it's
way,
not
man.
illegal.
Yeah, but legality is not the same as morality, and everyone is entitled to their own definition of morality, as you yourself said. So
I'm not equating the two, but what I'm saying is that if I am paying you as an internet service provider for access to the internet, I am not paying you to make arbitrary decisions. There's no way that's in my contract.
I hear your argument, but everyone has the right to make their own service provider.
They certainly do.
They could have competition, and you could use the one who's advocating for more freedom.
I don't know that everyone has the right to make their own service provider. I think that's a state monopoly.
They may not.
Yeah, I think
it's not a monopoly, but there's obviously restrictions.
Oligopoly.
There's restrictions.
Yeah.
But I think this backs up your point earlier, Derrick J., which is that this is new. This is, well, in this case, Australia, but they're very similar. New Zealand and Australia. This is what the people want.
These are their values.
This is right. This is this company saying that we don't think the government has been quick enough to censor, so we're going to do a better job of censoring because we know how, we have the ability, and we can, and we're going to do it because we believe this is the right thing to do, because they obviously think that that's what their customers want them to do, right?
I want to applaud them because I feel they are trying to do the right thing. They're looking in their hearts and saying, oh man, this is a bad thing. We can't be complicit in spreading this bad thing. Here we are. We're just as culpable. We're bringing.
Do they
bad
know
to
what
the
what they've been providing to their? I mean, they've been complicit in spreading all kinds of bad things for the last however many decades. They've been the internet.
Everything.
I mean, there's a dark side to the internet, and it's always been there. And this is like the first time where, maybe it's not the first time, but now all of a sudden they're concerned. You've been able to look at murder videos on the internet since day one, and since day one of video.
So what's different?
Well, this is public. They're essentially pandering to whatever this viewpoint is that people have in New Zealand, that there shouldn't, these things shouldn't be allowed.
But it's also, there's this weird maternalistic. I call it the devouring mother. It's like the evil maternalistic archetype, to where it's like, okay, if you say that there are customers out there who don't think that this type of stuff should be viewed or should be spread, don't put the 4chan URL into your browser. Guess what? 4chan's not coming up in your browser if you don't put the URL in there. You know what I mean? They don't need to be out there making decisions for other people.
So let's get into this further. There's more to the story here. Optus has a statement about why they did it, and it has to do with their opinion about what the community wants them to do. They think their customers want this. 855 450 free. You can join us here. And of course, there's a way around it, right? Tor. There are ways around this. It's Free Talk Live.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com. And it's a place you can send any business. And they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. Helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. Themorganreport.com. Themorganreport.com.
If you're looking for work, the person you are applying to may be even more nervous than you are. And the way things are now, your references have never been more important. Here are 3 tips. First, know that employers are checking. Every hire is under the microscope these days. Second, they won't just be checking references you provide. Figure that all of your ex-employers will get a call and be asked, would you hire him or her again? Third, assume you will be Googled. So before you apply, remove all those party animal photos from your Facebook page. Even if you're not in the job market, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. For more tips for job seekers and getting better results in all your day-to-day communication, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You're invited here. If you want to join us on the radio, our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. By the way, kudos to our Discord chatters who have been providing these, excellent and horrible stories that we're sharing with you here tonight. That's where I got, I think, all of these from. We talked about the 22-year-old who was arrested for sharing the video of the shooting in New Zealand. The telcos in Australia, the major telecommunications providers, internet providers, just deciding on their own volition to just block certain websites, including 4chan, 8chan, Vote
rhymes with goat.
Vote. Okay, again, what do you do there?
It's like a Reddit.
Okay, so you vote on articles,
but it's a more free. Like Reddit has a lot of censorship and banning.
So it's a competitor that's more open.
Yeah.
Okay.
And their trademark thing is a goat. So that's
gotcha.
The vote goat.
Thank you for the correction there. So, banning these things, these stories I got from the news story show prep room on our Discord server, where people just drop in stuff they think we'd want to talk about.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great source, and it's thanks to our listeners for going there and doing that. You can go to the Discord over at discord.lrn.fm. Just hop into that server, and you can chat with other listeners. Right now, they're talking about DNS, which, of course, is a way potentially to get around these bans from the New Zealand or Australian telcos, where you can, if you kind of know what you're doing, you can get into your router and you can put in new DNS servers in there. For instance, there's OpenDNS, there's Google-provided DNS, there are other DNS providers. So normally for listeners that don't really understand how the internet works, when you go to freetalklive.com, what's going on is your computer is sending a request to your DNS, the domain name service, I think is what that stands for, the provider that your internet service provider by default is offering to you. And is basically sort of the internet's version of a phone book, right? So you're looking up this name, freetalklive.com. Well, there's a number associated with that name. Right, the operator's looking it up very quickly, and within an instant, they find the number, the IP address that backs that server, and then your web browser connects to that IP address, and then you get to see freetalklive.com. So what people are saying here is Telstra and Vodafone and Optus, three of the main telecommunications providers, banning 4chan and 8chan and some of these other sites. They're doing it at the DNS level because that's the only level at which they could potentially do it.
They could do it at the IP level. They could do it at the IP level, at the IP address level.
Oh, meaning ban the IPs. Yeah.
That if you try to get to a specific IP address, that they cut off the route.
So then that would stop the alternative DNSs as well. Then in that case, okay. So they do have a way.
If that's how they were doing it.
Yeah. So we're not sure exactly what method they're using in that case.
I mean, they can certainly put a firewall on any. They can filter any IP address.
That's a good point.
Want. Yeah.
So DNS basically is the phone book. So you can change the phone book that your computers are using. But if you're passing through these telcos, then what you're saying is, Vin, they could just cut off those IPs. Yeah. So even if you were able to look up the IP, you couldn't get to the IP.
Yeah, firewalls are generally IP address is going to be a firewall, and you can firewall ingress and egress. So in and out data. It's relatively easy.
So that could be what they're doing here, in which case VPN would be a workaround.
Yes, could be, potentially.
And also Tor, probably also a workaround, unless the Tor nodes you're exiting from are within the country of the same jurisdiction.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because that would affect them in that case.
Yeah.
So a little bit more here from the story. Your calls and thoughts are welcome if you want to join us. 855-450-FREE. But again, if you want to hit the Discord, go to discord.lrn.fm. Comments from these companies, Optus saying it had blocked the domains after, quote, reflecting on community expectations.
What does that mean? Reflecting on community
Well, they had a board meeting, probably.
Well, first off, how do you even know what the community expectations will be to reflect on them? It's not like community requests, community demands, community votes. It's like, let's just take a guess at what the community might expect from us here.
Well, they live in the community,
so... They should know what the community expects because it's what they are requesting most from their web server.
But they just said that it was an extreme case. So if it's an extreme case that requires extreme measures, how can you even gauge what the expectation will be? It's just a guess.
Well, unless they see a lot of traffic going to it, that tells me that people demand it.
That they want it.
Yeah.
So why would you cut it off?
I don't know.
See,
that would be bad.
This is where it's all. This is where for me,
Well, we have companies
I
in the
understand that you guys are saying that like maybe this is their culture or whatever, but I don't subscribe to that. I don't think that.
I hope you're right.
Then how do we change it? Don't you feel like
we can't? We're not there.
No, but people can hear our words, and it might be time for a Liberty Kindergarten where we explain why freedom of speech is good.
Let's do that then.
So, I don't know. I don't even know where to begin. Why is it good for a web service provider to host a video that everyone agrees is horrible? Why is that good?
Well, as I explained earlier, information should be free, in my opinion. But I don't. Not everybody has that same opinion.
But you're just saying your opinion. Why? Why is that good?
No, I think that I think that it's not about that it's not good for them to host something that everybody agrees is bad. That's not the key. The key is not allowing certain institutions or certain individuals to have the power to make that decision. Because value is subjective.
Yeah.
And so there will be things that everybody agrees are bad.
Sure.
And there will be things that everybody
rate videos.
Look, the child porn situation. Yep. I don't think you're going to get somebody who you're going to be like, oh, do you think child porn should be legal? You're really not going to get anybody who's going to be like,
sure.
Yes, indeed, I do. Yes, yes, sir. Not publicly, they're not.
But the problem is the slippery slope.
Exactly.
Right? So when you give a government bureaucrat the ability to restrict information, then eventually they're going to restrict information that you didn't intend them to.
Always.
That you didn't agree that they should. They've gone too far, in your opinion.
Exactly.
So this starts with things that everyone agrees are bad.
It starts with the
Ends
unpopular.
with things that are just against the government.
That's the way
stuff like that
it's been always been explained in this country, is that freedom of speech has to be protected for the unpopular. That's why the ACLU, for instance, is historically known for, defending the free speech of Nazis. Nazis are despicable. Nobody likes them. But they have to have their free speech defended if you care about freedom of speech, because eventually they're going to come for you. Eventually they're going to decide that something you say is unpopular. Oh, we don't like you because you're gay, or we don't like you because you wear a suit, or we don't like you because whatever it would be. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but, it can happen.
So that's the argument. I think that's the crux of it is...
That's the best one, I think.
Okay, you have to allow freedom for despicable things, because if you allow a restriction on freedom for despicable things, then it begins a slippery slope.
Something you think is
fine. Where more and more freedoms are restricted.
It's all about who decides what is despicable.
Sure. Or objectionable.
Right. That's the problem.
And who should it be?
No one. Well, the individual.
Well, wait a minute. What about the owner of the thing?
They can do that, sure.
The owner of the thing.
If they want to take it down,
well,
that would
be the ISP,
the telcos, right? They have the right to make this decision.
So yes, no, I am saying that you have the right to make that decision, but
they shouldn't make that decision.
It's not their obligation to protect freedom of speech.
Exactly.
Their obligation is to run a business, and they want to satisfy what they consider to be the majority of their customers. They believe this is satisfying to their customers, this decision that they've made. Then you find this hard to believe. I'm not that surprised by it, because I agree with you, Derrick. I think New Zealanders are used to censorship. This is what they've been raised with.
It's terrible.
This is their value.
There's more coming up here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Free Talk Live.
As long as the majority of people say that you can't smoke in public, or the majority of people say you can't have a windmill in your yard, or the majority of people say you can't wear your pants down around your butt, or the majority of people say that you can't contract to live with the person you want to live with, or the majority of the people say that you've got to pay for public schools. As long as the majority says it, it must be okay, because crowds have wisdom. Oh, come on.
Nonsense.
Crowds lynched people for being witches.
There's so many instances in history where we acknowledge now that the majority was massively and horribly wrong.
Yes.
Why aren't we acknowledging it? Look, we've had precedent for that. Why aren't we acknowledging it now in terms of how we decide how we're going to interact with each other? That, look, maybe that's not a good way to figure out right and wrong. That the majority believes in a certain thing. And that's how we find out right from wrong.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Pure Life Water, helping you drink better and live better by providing a zero-calorie alternative to sugary drinks. Visit us at nestle-purelife.us. When kids are playing, they often don't want to stop to keep hydrated. So send them out with a bottle of water and encourage them to take frequent drink breaks, or call them inside for a quick sip. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, you dial toll free if you want to join us here. We're talking about not just censorship, but private companies going above and beyond the level of censorship that the government is requiring them to do. Because, again, the definition of censorship tends to involve governments. These are just private companies making decisions about what content they want to allow their customers to access, specifically on the internet. And, of course, Vin, you made the point just a few moments ago that, in your opinion, if you're running an internet service provider, you should be providing unfiltered internet access to the end user. The end user can filter their own experience through not going to websites that they don't want to go to.
Well, should my mobile provider be able to block the phone number? Let's say somebody's on. Let's say I want to call somebody in another country, right?
Yeah.
I've got international dialing. Mm-hmm. I'm paying for an international call. Should they be able to decide, oh no, that person is a convicted felon and we don't like them. They live in another country, and so you cannot call them. I try to call them and they're like, oh no, we're sorry, sir. You can't
call. That call's unauthorized.
Yeah, you can't call your friend because we don't like him for whatever he did.
Should they be able to? They should be able to.
Should they?
But they shouldn't.
Yeah, who should be able to stop them? Only the customer. Only the people who pull the strings.
I think we're talking about something. This to me, this is different than like Facebook It's different. It's very different, and the reason why it's different is because there's a government involvement.
Well, you can't go right out and start a phone company.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that they've been delivered a monopoly, or at least an oligopoly. But if it's your cable company here in the States that's providing you your internet, that's a monopoly. That's a regional monopoly.
So two wrongs make a right. I mean, this is an exception. You're making an exception where you could be philosophically consistent instead, and it's more difficult. But
I'm not saying that they should be prevented from doing it. Okay, like. I get it.
You're shaming them, and that's right to do.
They're a private company.
Right.
I'm not saying there should be a law for that. I'm not saying that it should be illegal for them.
So you're saying, like, as a watchdog group, you would want to sound the alarm about any company that wants to restrict phone calls or restrict the websites that you're able to visit.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's a real
one.
need for that. And I think a lot of people would be happy to donate and even pay a subscription fee to be a member of an organization that was a watchdog like that.
But the thing is, it doesn't happen. I guess that's kind of my point.
What doesn't happen?
Is that the scenarios that we are describing, where you have in modern Western nations, this is like super unprecedented, where you would have a popular website that's like legal. It's a legal website. Mm-hmm. It's not like they're putting up like blatantly illegal. It's not like 4chan is like blatantly hosting child porn. That's available.
No, they may not be hosting child porn, but they are allegedly violating the laws in New Zealand.
But this is Australia.
The censorship. Well, I bet you there's similar laws in Australia. I'm just going to say.
But this is when it gets. But again, okay, they're violating the law, but there was no. I understand if the government came in. Right, and this is where I'm saying that this is in a place that is not good. Okay, because it's like it would be one thing if in this case the government had come in and said, "Listen, you got to block this site because it's illegal."
Right.
But that didn't happen.
So you think this is even worse? Is that your point?
I think this is worse than that.
Okay. Yeah, because then they're not trying to do the right thing in violation of the law. They're actually going beyond an already restrictive law,
exactly,
and further censoring.
Exactly.
So you think that this is even a worse action?
This is less ethical. This is more unethical. This is to me this is unethical behavior. Like this is the equivalent of look, you can decide that you're going to say no blacks allowed in your restaurant. I think
it's your prerogative, but it's wrong.
I think you should look. Right. I think you should, as a black man.
Right.
I think you should have the right to do that, and I think that a restaurant should open right next to you and put you out of business.
Absolutely.
That serves the exact same food. But I believe you have a right. But I believe that you are a scumbag.
Sure.
For doing so.
And in addition to that, you're saying that it's especially difficult. It's not like starting a restaurant next door.
Exactly.
Starting an ISP.
It's impossible.
Huge monies needs to be involved in rolling out the cable and the setting up the service.
And beyond that, not just the expense, but the political connections. You're saying that
it's impossible.
Yeah,
you may as well just call it impossible for there to be competition.
I can see an argument for an exception to the philosophy in the case that there is no freedom to compete.
No, there's none. There's none.
Generally, there's very little freedom. It would be very difficult. It would be very costly. The city of Keene, for instance, here has one cable company. But the claim is that anyone who wanted to could go ahead and open up their own cable company.
Do you think, though, wait a minute, do you think that the company here who you're saying is doing something worse than if the government came and shut them down, do you think that they were acting in self-defense from the government that would have come and shut them down and maybe even put them in prison for hosting these things?
No, because the government would have sent them a letter and they would have blocked it the same way that they're doing it. There's no risk. There's no risk.
They could have been arrested like the teenager.
No, because they're not hosting it. They're not in possession of it. They're
just allowing people to find it.
That's it, man.
Yeah. Well, that's complicit. They're complicit in.
Yeah, but until the government specific, to be front running like this, because now they're second guessing the government. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So who's
and they're setting the standard? That's bad.
And at what point do they stop? And they're also not just
the thing.
They're not just blocking a file.
Why would they ever stop?
They're blocking the entire site.
Yeah. Very disturbing stuff. If you want to join us here, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Communications Alliance Chief Executive John Stanton said in a statement, and I presume this is like an industry group, Communications Alliance. Sounds like maybe it's an industry. Like, quote, these ISPs have sought to balance community expectations to remove access to the video with the need to minimize any inconvenience that may arise from legitimate content being blocked as an unavoidable temporary consequence. So wait, is this temporary? Is that the claim, that they're going to unblock the sites later on once they feel like things have settled down?
Isn't it always temporary? Wasn't like the Patriot Act supposed to be temporary? Wasn't? I mean, come on. Like, these things are not
the temporary income tax.
Yeah, exactly. Once you get into the authoritarianism, is always it's going to be a temporary measure. Some temporary emergency act is going to be put into place. That's how totalitarianism always begins.
Another large internet service provider, TPG, has been contacted for comment. Spokesperson for the e-safety commissioner, apparently that's a thing, said she didn't provide, quote, any direction or advice to Australian ISPs in regard to the blocking of websites, unquote. The office does not have the authority to direct ISPs to block domains, but can take action to remove content shared on Australian-hosted websites. The commissioner is encouraging social media users to report the video and any content supporting the attacks directly to the platforms. LiveLeak said in a statement it would not carry the video filmed by, quote, the psychopath who murdered 49 innocent people in New Zealand, and will continue to remove it whenever it is discovered. So that backs up what I was saying about LiveLeak.
So why did they get blocked?
I don't know.
See, this is
somebody
what I'm
doesn't
saying,
like them.
man.
Somebody doesn't like them.
This is what I'm saying.
Because LiveLeak will post videos that are critical of governments. They will.
So governments would love what these ISPs are doing. Right.
That's right.
I just feel like it's a back door. It's a back door for governments where they're like, oh, we didn't say anything. We didn't say anything.
Right.
Never mind.
It's the market in action.
Yeah, never mind that these guys are some of the most government-regulated industries on the face of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And so they
all go to the same cocktail parties and regulatory boards.
Dude, it's a revolving door.
Yeah.
It's government lawyers that stop going and working for the government, that they go and work for the ISPs, and they stop working for the ISPs, and they go work for the government. It's like that's a revolving door.
The toll-free number tonight, if you want to join us in the remaining moments, which are coming up. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. And let's see, I had one more story related to this that we might be able to get to about should the media name the gunman when the discussions are happening, when they're talking about the news. Should these people be given credit for taking people's lives? More coming up.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry MyPillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose.
And here's Mike's best offer ever. MyPillow is now offering 50% off their 4-pack special plus free shipping. Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-951-5617 and use promo code FTL. That's 50% off plus free shipping. Don't delay. Order now.
You haven't experienced yogurt until you've tried a Mossy, embodying health and flavor in a true whole milk, green-fed dairy beverage. Every sip pays homage to our old world cows and the ancient culturing methods their milk benefits from. With over 30 probiotics, a Mossy's undeniably nutritious, refined, cultured sensation bolsters your health and awakens your passion for dairy. A Mossy's so good, and you need to try it. Contact your Youngevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, the Mineral Doctor. You've heard me talk about 90 for Life for years. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 fatty acids. You may not know this, that I've actually designed Arthrodex for animals. That's right. Your pets need 90 for Life, too. Get this essential pet product by calling 877-279-9422. That's 877-279-9422. Again, 877-279-9422.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into their rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey.
Who do you think you are?
Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Holy road. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me?
Because you're scared me.
What
am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derrick J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin, but imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free here. We can have you bring up whatever it is that's on your mind. We've been focusing tonight on media and freedom and the lack of it in a country like New Zealand. Also, Australia, not particularly friendly to freedom of speech on the internet. It's Ian Vinn and Derrick J here in the studio tonight. Of course, Derrick J here courtesy of anypay.global and helpmetakebitcoin.com. Vin, you've got your own website and your own show.
I do.
And that is vinarmani.com. Yes, Destination Unknown.
Yes, indeed. Every Friday.
Yeah, and it's live when you do it.
Yes.
Video.
Yes.
It's you and Dave.
Yes, Dave Butler.
And you guys cover what?
Oh, well, that's the whole thing. It's Destination
You don't
Unknown.
know.
So there's no we start with the topic and a full bottle of wine, and by the end we're definitely on another topic and an empty bottle of wine.
Right.
It used to be two bottles of wine, but we've cut
the
back
more responsible version of the show now.
We would
twice as responsible.
Yeah, we listened to the last half hour, and it was two bottles.
You
of
went
wine.
too far.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. It's a fun show. I mean, we get into obviously liberty topics, little conspiracy theory stuff, sometimes science, nature, psychology, sociology, cryptocurrency. It's fun.
What's the reason behind having a target that you don't know what it is? Like, what is there a reason for a destination? It sounds like you're setting out to go somewhere you don't know where it is.
Well, this is how I like to look at my. So I say that I'm an anarchist, but it is an orientation, not a destination. So the idea is like the destination's unknown, but you want to find something to orient yourself toward. That's way more important than actually getting to the goal. Like the goal of liberty, it's really an orientation to where it's just you can sort of ping your own activities and say, I'm oriented here, but where I end up with this orientation, like, I don't know what the destination is. It's unknown. So it's just like we point ourselves in a direction to start out with. We start out with a topic for the evening. We point ourselves in a direction.
And where you end up.
Where we end up. And it's always been good. And it's always somehow comes full circle, which is pretty cool.
Check him out over at vinarmani.com. I do want to say, if you don't mind, Vin, can you let Dave in real fast on your mic, since he came all the way from Montana, and many of our listeners will remember his voice. He is Dave from Montana and a longtime listener of the show. Dave, is it your first time in New Hampshire?
Yeah, first time in New Hampshire. Rio in the house, in the Free Talk house.
Right on, brother.
Wow.
And
it's so great to hear you behind one of those microphones now.
Yeah, get real close on the
so
mic,
nice
and you'll sound really good for our listeners. So
not through a phone.
Right. Well, actually, Dave had upgraded his calls. He had called on Skype.
You usually sounded pretty good.
You guys gave up Skype now.
We did, because it's garbage, unfortunately. Discord is so much better.
Every day.
They made it worse. What happened with Skype was Microsoft basically gutted the program and actually removed features from Skype that were useful for broadcast.
Oh.
So they made it worse, and also since Microsoft took it over, the voice quality, the audio quality, it sort of suffered. I think they cut back on whatever bandwidth budget that they had allocated to it. So we're getting you hooked up in the background. We've been working on helping Dave get on our Discord server, so hopefully we'll have him up and running on that, and then you can call us on there.
Free Talk Live could live long. Long live Free Talk Live.
Right on, brother.
So
hey,
what kind of stuff are you into, Dave? And
I'm a ski bum.
You just follow wherever the ski slopes take you?
Dave likes cannabis.
That's not skiing.
Yeah.
A lot of people mix the two together. I don't know if you know this.
Oh, yeah, it's a good ski medicine.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
So everyone on the ski slopes is stoned?
I wouldn't say everyone is, but
okay.
If you find young people on the ski slopes, I'd say there's a good chance that, especially if they're like regular ski bum types, they're basically like the surfers of skiing, essentially, as I understand it. Is that right?
I'm missing some really good spring skiing right now.
Out in Montana?
Yeah.
What do they put, wheels underneath the skis? I don't know. That's springtime skiing.
Oh, no, just that you don't have to bundle up. It's nice.
Oh, right. So the snow's still on the ground.
Yeah,
it hasn't gone away completely, but
it's still warm out and beautiful, and you don't have to wear the heavy jackets. They go skiing in bikinis sometimes on a nice day, like 55 and stuff.
You wear bikinis?
Yeah, not me.
They do.
The babes wear them.
So, Dave, thanks for coming in here tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure
coming out here. These guys are all right, man.
You got to hang out with Rich Paul today.
I woke up being this morning. He was a happy-go-lucky guy, right?
Yeah, normally I'm not happy if somebody wakes me up, but in this case it worked out because it was nice. It was nice to see you, and I was going to get up in 10 minutes anyway. So you were my alarm clock this morning. It was all good.
Cool.
So slide that right on back over to Vin.
Thanks.
Dave in Montana, longtime listener. Great to have people show up like that. So let's go quickly to your calls and thoughts here. Let's go to Sarah. She's in New Mexico. Sarah. You're on Free Talk Live. You knew we couldn't end the show without Sarah.
I finally got to use that Hawk cross light that they built.
Oh, you've been very excited about this. This is the light that they will put by a crosswalk to alert drivers that someone is about to cross through the crosswalk.
Oh,
so it's like a flashing light, basically. So you've been very excited about that, Sarah.
They have one of these here in town.
They do. Yeah, down as you're coming
very
into
effective
downtown Keene.
You must love it.
Well, I used it, but I only used the Pedestrian Refuge, the 10-foot, like a concrete. It's about 10 foot wide, and you could stand on it. I mean, it's cut out, or you could walk into it, but it's about,
I got to say, you're terrible at describing these pedestrian protections.
What is it?
A pedestrian refuge.
It's a concrete. It's Pedestrian Refuge. You stand in the middle.
Did you come up with that name, or is that actually like...
Wait, is she talking about an island? Are you talking about a divider island that's in between?
Like the lanes?
Yeah, it's the actual, that's what it's called, where a pedestrian could stand. It's a little island, but it's cut out. None of you guys understand any of this raised up curb or any of this bicycle median, none of the stuff unless you get a picture.
Okay, I've looked it up here. Refuge Island, also known as a pedestrian refuge, and colloquially known as a pork chop island, is a small section of pavement or sidewalk completely surrounded by asphalt or other road materials where pedestrians can stop before finishing crossing a road. Yeah, it's a median.
Yeah, median.
It's a raised median.
Right.
Do you feel safe on this?
You know what? that is all I needed. That's all I used. So I pay attention to one side of the street, eastbound. I cross one side of the street. I stand there. I just wait until there's.
Do you feel like you're safe standing there? Because, I mean, it's not really much of a refuge. It's just a temporary spot to stand while you find the next opening in traffic. I mean, if somebody careens over into you, it's not going to protect you from them. You know that, right?
No, it is a refuge. The cars, unless you're absolutely drunk or texting or
yeah. Well, guess what? There are plenty of cars who are drunk and texting.
Why would a car that's not drunk and not texting hit you even if there wasn't a refuge?
Well, I mean, before that crosswalk, all you had was two yellow paint lines to stand on. And the car's going like one foot next to you. And
I'll give it to you. The hawk is noticeable. The flashing light, it definitely draws attention when that happens. I mean, Derrick, you've said you thought it was particularly noteworthy.
I think they're great because I have a hard time as a driver seeing pedestrians sometimes, and I'm looking for them, but sometimes it's tough. And so if they're not standing there or making themselves known, this sign does a good job.
But the word refuge, Sarah, I mean, it does have a definition. A refuge is the condition of being safe or sheltered from pursuit, danger, or trouble. And a pedestrian refuge, as you've described it, as the internet has described it, doesn't provide any safety. It just gives you a brief moment where you can, like, look ahead of you and see where the traffic is.
Does it have, like, tall plants?
No.
Yeah, maybe it does.
No, but I find a lot of refuge. I find it now I never have to press the button.
Well, as long as you feel safe, that's all that matters.
This is great. I'm so happy for you.
But what I'm saying is that all they have to do, you know what? All they have to do is put a pedestrian refuge instead of the hawk light before, and people could have crossed. All they have to do is cross one side, stand in the middle, wait until the other side is clear, and cross.
No one has ever made crossing traffic sound so complicated as you, Sarah, and I would like to thank you for the call tonight. Did her parents not teach her how to cross the street when she was young? I mean, this was one of the first lessons.
That was amazing.
Isn't this one of the first lessons you're going to teach your kid? You got a new baby?
We've already.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We've already taught the 3-year-olds.
Right. You look both ways and then do it again.
Yes.
Before you cross or run out and grab the ball from the road or whatever it is you're going to do. This is basic preschool level stuff here, Sarah. But thanks for the reminder, because everybody needs to know. Always look before you cross the street and do it more than once. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Online in the meantime, you can find us at freetalklive.com.
It's been
on Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the Liberty Beat for Tuesday, March 19th, 2019. Gold opened the day at $1,309. Silver opened at $15.40. And Bitcoin is trading around $3,997. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd.
By the end of the year, nearly every Major League Baseball team will be using facial recognition. The Activist Post reports that last year there were only 9 Major League Baseball teams using Clear's facial recognition to spy on fans. But all of that is about to change. This year, the MLB has decided to go full-blown TSA and put facial recognition cameras in 23 stadiums, which is just 7 shy of the entire league. According to an article published by Business Wire, Major League Baseball plans to scan the faces of millions of baseball fans. The article warned that Clear's broader rollout plan means they will be in every stadium by the end of the year. With Clear becoming the official biometric identity partner of Major League Baseball, the future of spying on sports fans and their families will only get worse. A Cleveland.com article revealed that Clear Biometrics will be scanning fans' faces during this year's Major League Baseball All-Star Weekend in Cleveland, Ohio. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the Liberty Beat for Tuesday, March 19th, 2019. The Liberty Beat is found online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting. Your news now continues. As New Zealand reels from Friday's Christchurch mosque attack that left 50 dead and 50 wounded, residents of New Zealand have begun to voluntarily surrender their legally owned semi-automatic firearms for destruction, ahead of reforms promised over the next several days. Activist Post reports that the reports of citizens disarming themselves come amid a Monday announcement by Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern that several in-principle decisions on gun control have been made by cabinet ministers, and has praised residents who have surrendered their guns to police. Official police figures show that nearly 7,000 New Zealanders are legally allowed to own semi-automatic weapons. Police have advised those who wish to turn theirs in to first call their local police station or arms officer for advice on safely transporting them for destruction. For 6 years, ever since the alleged chemical weapons attack in Syria in 2013, the Western corporate press has stuck with the easily disproven claim that the Syrian government gassed its own people. Activist Post reports that the lie has been repeatedly debunked by researchers in the alternative media, but that hasn't altered the onslaught of propaganda coming from mainstream journalists. Now, one of their own, a mainstream Belgian reporter who was captured by the West Free Syrian Army terrorists, has begun blowing the lid off of the lies that the Syrian government committed the chemical attack. The reporter recently gave an interview with Belgian RTL, where he told of a conversation he heard between rebels that exonerated President Bashar al-Assad and stated clearly that, quote, it wasn't the government of Bashar al-Assad that used sarin gas or any other gas, end quote. As a result, the majority of his scheduled interviews with mainstream outlets were canceled. Support for Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for the Liberty Beat for Tuesday, March 19th, 2019, reminding you, Spread liberty with a smile.
It's the Onion Radio News. Raccoon leaders call for the loosening of garbage can lids. This is Doyle Redland reporting. In a 4 a.m. speech at the group's annual Washington, D.C. convention this morning, North American Raccoon Federation President Bristletail called upon homeowners to loosen the lids of their garbage cans, providing the ring-tailed mammals with greater access to discarded food scraps during nocturnal scavenging.
Every time you seal a standard 30-gallon garbage can, as many as 6 raccoons are forced to go without their necessary daily supply of congealed baked beans, rancid cottage cheese chunks, and moldy cantaloupe rinds.
The 26-pound varmint closed his speech with a stern warning that without raccoons, possums could take over the world. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Interfered here and declare your independence of me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the VEA beautiful studios of Freedoms with an S, FreedomsPhoenix.com. Oh, hello. Good morning. Okay, this is what we're going to do today. Dr. Frank is going to come in, and we're going to have, I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about. Probably a little bit of Trump report, but there's a lot of other stuff going on. He is really big into this, pop culture, social media, and